looking. Oh, get it on. David.
On Sports 1440.
Now Montgomery, he's going to break. David Montgomery is for the touchdown.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
And another solid stop on Stitcher. Here's Podkolzin, Draisaitl, over to Brown, and now Edmonton buzzing in Colorado, hanging on here. The Oilers take their first lead of the night, 2-1. The silly Podkolzin, that's 3 straight games with a goal.
What a tantalizing Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as Oilers Nation, Sports 1440, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for listening, watching. Maybe you're on the app. Wherever you are consuming the show, we thank you for spending the day, hour, 2 hours, 4 hours for some of you. We love it. Thanks for spending it with us. As always, it's brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, Lotto Max. $31 million up for grabs at PlayAlberta.ca. Get your tickets. It'll be fun. And I'm going to say today, hockey is officially back. I know there was training camp. I know there was some preseason games. But for me, the NHL season is officially back today because there are many people fired up, questioning the coach's decision on what the line combination are going to be. And that's when you know the season has returned. Chris Knobloch, if you missed it, we'll play some of his comments. But Chris Knobloch outlined today that he is going to start the season playing Draisaitl and McDavid together. And he gives his explanation and his reasoning why, and we'll get into that. So look for Nugent Hopkins to be the second line center for this first month of the season. Well, maybe sooner, I guess, if it goes awry. But with no Zach Hyman, the head coach basically feels like, you know what? I don't want to go into the season with 2 lines I'm not sure I really like because of newcomers and everything like that. So he's going to put the one line, because he says it doesn't matter who he has playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, not to discount them, but when they play together, he likes that line. And so McDavid and Draisaitl will play together. Trent Frederick will play with them starting tomorrow. Now, how long that lasts, we'll see. But Trent Frederick is going to get the first look with McDavid and Draisaitl. Nugent Hopkins will center the second line. I'm guessing with Mangiapane, maybe Adam Henrique, maybe Vasily Podkolzin. Then the third line, I think it's going to be Tomasic and Savoy. Remember, they played together in the first preseason game. And then I'm thinking maybe Henrique or Kasperi Kapanen. Guy can really fly. Played well in the playoffs. And that means you could, if that happens, Adam Henrique could be your fourth line center with Janmark and Curtis Lazar. Now, where does Ike Howard fit in? I know he's going to have to up his game. It's hard, man. Pro is hard. This is the first season of pro hockey. I tried to say it all summer long. I expected Ike Howard to start in the American League, and I still do. Not because I don't think Ike Howard's a good player, because I think the NHL is a damn hard league. Really hard league. And you come in and you've never played any pro hockey, it'll take a while. So I have no qualms. I look at Matt Savoy. Last year at this time, no one was calling for Matt Savoy to make the team coming out of camp, but no one was disappointed that he didn't. And look at the pro season he had. Remember, Savoy is the exact same age as Ike Howard. Savoy is the 9th overall pick. Howard is the 31st overall pick, the same draft year. Ike Howard had one great year last year, unreal year, the Hobie Baker. Good for him. Turned pro. Awesome. Deserved it. Maybe he just needs some time of seasoning in the American League, just like Matt Savoy did. I don't see it being an issue whatsoever. I will say, I thought before Connor Halley that, one thing the Oilers are going to look at was to get another scoring winger. I'm going to say top of the list, mark it down, things that I think will happen before the trade deadline. The Oilers get a scoring winger. I think that, like, they tried to get Mikko Rantanen last year. So you know that Stan Bowman's looking to get a big name winger. Now, there's not many big name wingers out there that are going to match Rantanen. A, being available, B, having the skill set, size, all those things. I understand it. But there is a fair amount of players. I think it's 120. Well, actually, I know it's 125 players who are currently unrestricted free agents in the final year of a multi-year deal. Then you could add in the other 50 players who signed one-year deals, like Kasperi Kapanen, for instance, and others who will be in the NHL this year. So that's a lot of pending UFAs. There's going to be some guys available at the trade deadline. And depending on who gets signed by then or not, could be some pretty skilled forwards. So I think the Oilers' priority numero uno leading up to the deadline is going to be adding another scoring winger. Because when Zach Hyman's out, it gets a little thin. I think that's obvious. So that's kind of where I see it going. What do you make of because basically Knobloch's saying, I want a good start. I know that's a line that go with. Connor McDavid has said it basically from day one. We need a better start. The Oilers were 2-7-1 2 years ago. Last year they started 0-3 and managed to scrape back and get to 4-5-1 as they went 4-2-1 in their 7 games after starting 0-3, but still under 500 both years in a row. So I would look for them to try to increase that start and be better. I think it's 7 of their first 10 games are against teams who didn't make the playoffs last year. Now I know that's last year, but it's still something that you can't just overlook. Right? They start out against Calgary, then they got Vancouver. Right? Then they go on the road for 5, but they got some teams who weren't playoff teams last year. So we'll see how it goes. Cons, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think when you get down the stretch and get into the playoffs, it's beneficial to have those guys on their own lines. But I also do agree with getting off to a good start because the last 2 years they put themselves in tough spots, and we know it eventually would cost Jay Woodcroft his job. I've said it from, once the season ended and the Oilers were eliminated by the Panthers, I kind of wanted a change in mindset. Like, go into this year, have that goal to win your division, President's Trophy. Why not? Like, why have the lull and put yourself in a bad position? Set the standard, try to keep it going. I know it's a long season and every team's going to have games and, where they don't perform to the best of their ability, but have the expectation. Let's go out there. We know how good we can be. We saw that we can run through the West. We saw it in the playoffs against good teams in the Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars and getting past the Kings once again. So, I would love to see them just kind of roll through this season and set the bar very high, win hockey games, get that kind of culture being built. Don't always have to count on McDavid and Draisaitl. When you can get some help from some of the guys down on the roster, that's going to help out as well. But I don't mind it. Again, I will stand by what I said. When the games matter and you get to the playoffs, I think you need them on their own lines, anchoring them, break in case of emergency type situation. But to start the year, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to be too worried about it.
Well, definitely nothing to now. Hey, I love the passion of people. I love people to get fired up. But to me, calling Chris Knobloch a bad coach and I'm happy doesn't have an extension, I don't think so. Now, speaking of contract extensions, Vasily Podkolzin, a 3-year contract extension. Well, today it starts next year. So that'll be a 2.95 AAV for Vasily Podkolzin. So he's in the final year of a 2-year deal that pays him $1 million. And obviously they feel that Podkolzin can take a step. He believes he can take a step. So we'll hear from him. He was, he was pretty straightforward. I got to improve my offense. He didn't sugarcoat anything. That's the area of his game he wants to improve. But man, you listen to Draisaitl, you listen to McDavid, like those guys love playing with him. Just for McDavid or for Draisaitl, he says he does things that Draisaitl doesn't do, creates space, good forechecker. And the thing about Podkolzin is he's just relentless. Like he's got a really strong work ethic. Really strong work ethic. So there you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, great decision by Knobloch. We're on the road for most of our 10 games. Fan base getting negative before season's 10 games old. P.S. Howard won't be called up until New Year. Good program and 100% agree with you. Doesn't happen often. Brad. Well, Brad, if we agreed all the time, that would be boring. But it's good to be on the same page sometimes. So that is fantastic. I honestly, I like when a coach explains his reasoning for a decision. You don't have to like it, but sometimes they don't say anything. Man, this is why I do it. Well, Knobloch had a pretty in-depth answer. So here it goes. When they were playing together, you get a lot more out of the rest of the three lines. That might sound a bit ironic, but the others get more ice time that is available when those two are playing 21 and 22 minutes on their own lines. So there isn't much ice time left for the third and fourth lines, and often they feel left out. But with Connor and Leon playing together, it allows those three lines to get to play more to their identity. If you have a guy who maybe isn't a top six guy, but he's playing with Leon or Connor, you kind of have to play a top six line identity, even if that isn't part of their game. By playing Connor and Leon together, the other guys play to their identity, and maybe you get more out of them. We saw it last year with Nugent Hopkins when he played with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. So you don't have to like it, but he really outlined his thought process. You put those two guys together, now more guys get minutes. And that's something the teams talk about. If you want players to feel more part of the game, you need more guys to get minutes, right? And so when Draisaitl and McDavid center their own lines, you know what? Now, I still think long-term, that's the best policy. But when you don't have a first-line winger that you truly love with Hyman gone, right? Like the other guys are okay, but is Mangiapane a first-line winger? I don't think so. Is Adam Henrique a first-line winger? I don't think so. Frederic, go down the list. They don't have another one. So you take out one. Leon Draisaitl, when he plays with McDavid, first-line winger. No question. And for 10 to 15 games, if those guys get rolling, and keep in mind, McDavid wants a better start. He's talked about it. McDavid's last two seasons, you know how many points he has in the first 10 games of the year? 10, which for the average guy, that's like unreal. But for Connor McDavid, it's average, right? It's really average. Like look at, so in 23-24, he had 10 points in the first 10 games. He finished with 122 points in his next 66 games. That's a significant increase. That's how good he can be. He wants to get off to a good start. So I get it. I think it's, if Zach Hyman is healthy, I don't believe we're having this conversation. And so this is one where when he gets back in the lineup, I could see Draisaitl and McDavid being split up. Maybe not right away. You know, if they're rolling and you're Knobloch, you can always, Leon Draisaitl's game won't fall off if he doesn't play with Connor McDavid. That's what's good about it, for sure. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, how could they possibly afford a scoring winger? From Red. Well, Red, did they get Matthias Ekholm one year? Did they get Jake Wallman, both top four defensemen? There's ways, right? You move out some guys. You move in, right? Trust me, it's very possible to do. Other teams have done it. Salary cap retention, add a player with some money who has to go the other way. It is very doable. I can't just sit here and say, well, there's no way to make that deal happen. Right? Like, who knows? Maybe as part of that deal, you know, Adam Henrique gets shipped out. Now I have to look at, does he have a full no move clause? I have to look. Can't remember if his was a full no move or not. So we'll see. But yeah, no, Adam Henrique has a full no move clause. So it might be tough to move him. Totally fair. But there's other guys. And that's just, you know what? It happens. Teams have traded guys that we didn't think were tradable. You move them out. So there's lots of ways to skin a cat to move some players out. It's just that simple. So I could see it happening. Hey guys, my coworker and I are in a debate with Mackenzie. We'll be in the conversation for Vezina Trophy. Your thoughts, Anchorton boys? Mackenzie Blackwood in the Vezina? It's an interesting question. A lot of the reason guys sometimes get in the Vezina and who's Vezina conversation, right? That's like somebody on X. Because I've seen names that people put out there in it that never even end up being in the top 5 voting. So that's kind of a challenge. When I look at Colorado, my one concern still about the Avs is their overall blue line. Obviously, Makar and Taves, really good. Sammy Girard, meh. I'm not the biggest Sammy Girard fan. Josh Manson, when he's healthy, is good. Then they got Malinsky. You bring in Brent Burns, the ageless one. The guy never misses any games. It's unreal. So maybe they'll be all right, but they gave up a lot of chances last year. Now maybe they tighten it up this year. We'll see. If that happens, there's a possibility. He kind of was Jekyll and Hyde, though. He had great stretches, then he would go down, which, welcome to the life of most NHL goalies. I know some people think that everybody's going to be super consistent. It's just really hard to do at that position. So. And Gregor added in Janmark. Yeah, but he makes like 1.4 mil. Sure, could throw him into the deal. I don't care. But I was looking at guys who have a little bit more stat. Because if you're bringing in a scorer, I'm assuming you're going to bring in a scorer who's got, usually if you're a big-time scorer, you're probably going to have a decent AAV. So you're going to have to ship out some AAV to make it work. So that's why I'd mentioned Henrique, because he has 3 mil. But obviously the no movement clause probably would limit that. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe Henrique will have a great year and they don't want to move. So lots can happen between now and March at the trade deadline. We'll return. Derek Van Diest is going to join us. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch. We got Terry Ryan today, Cam Tate, Struddy, Speck, Jim Toth. We'll talk a little Jets. We'll get to the Oilers lineup. Still trying to piece it together. I can tell you right now, it is McDavid, Draisaitl, and Frederick are going to play tomorrow for those Oilers fans who are going to the game tomorrow in Edmonton. I don't think you're going to see Bouchard or Ekholm tonight. Probably not Nurse or Wallman. It will be a road preseason, early preseason lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. That's just how it is. And so I wouldn't expect any big names, but we'll see who's playing it. You know what? There are going to be some guys who are battling for jobs and to see who's going to win on the second line, third line, the fourth line for the Oilers. So they still got something to play for. Make no mistake about it. We'll return. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Mr. Rooter goes for a fall stroll.
Ah, the beauty of fall. These leaves are crunchier than that calcified shower head I replaced this morning. And the earthy yellow oranges and browns are as colorful as the wad of hair I pulled out of the shower drain.
Ugh, Mr. Rooter, can we talk about something else?
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't like fall. You look about as sour as the sewer line I unclogged yesterday.
For a plumber you'll truly fall for. Call Mr. Rooter.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Want some good news? St. Albert Dodge is holding the biggest sale of the year on their in-stock Ram 1500 Sports. Every single one on the lot is discounted by a whopping $14,000. Yeah, 14 grand. And St. Albert Dodge has the best selection in Alberta. Over 90 Ram 1500 Sports to choose from with great packages, including the Night Edition and GT models, all $14,000 off the ticket price. Get down there and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Finish up the season with the Lawnmower Hospital and Ego, the #1 rated battery-powered platform. Ego lawnmowers are easy to use, powerful, and efficient. Transfer the battery to the pressure washer and clean the house. Don't forget the air blowers for when the leaves fall. Get Ego at the Lawnmower Hospital. Power beyond belief. Visit lawnmowerhospital.com.
We're more than repairs. We're more than and mowers for Lawnmower Hospital.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money. Support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.221. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. I think Stu Skinner's going to play tonight for theirs. Now, I know we got people texting, hey, Gregor, tonight's game's on TV. Folks, we do this every year. There's one national broadcaster. We all know who the national TV broadcaster is. It's Sportsnet. So when you see a game in Winnipeg, yeah, it's on TSN, but it's on TSN 3, which is blacked out outside of the Winnipeg region. It's always how it works. Now, if you have the NHL Network package, then guess what? Bingo bango. You can watch it because it'll be on there. But TSN is not a national broadcaster for the NHL. Thus, when you see a game that's in the other market, you don't get it. Now, the Vancouver game Sunday night is on TV against the Oilers because all of the Canucks, part of their deal was when they signed it, their preseason games are on TV. So the Canucks game on Sunday, and then next Friday's final preseason game in Vancouver, also on television on Sportsnet. So there you go. But the tonight's game is not on the Oilers. I will double check. I think it's on Oilers Plus, but I don't want to confirm that. I will send it a note because, to be bluntly honest, I did not ask that question earlier today. Maybe our next guest knows it as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. And guess what? They are hiring right now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year electricians. So feel like you got what it takes? You want a little spark? Send your resume to careers@actionelectrical.net. Unbelievable company to work for. And they're huge sports fans. You'll have a great time with them. Some, average to below average golfers, but really good guys and really good sports fans. So check it out, careers@actionelectrical.net, as we welcome back for another year from NHL.com. Covers all the Western Canadian teams. Derek Van Diest, DVD, my man. How you doing?
Hey, Jason. Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Hey, what's that? Whose Oil King jersey is that? Who's on the backward? Is that just a?
That's an Oil King jersey that they presented to me when I moved from post media to the NHL. The Oil Kings presented me a jersey, so it's my name on the back, and it's 07. It's my name and it's 07 on the back for the year I started covering the Oil Kings. So it was a nice gesture by them. About 3 years ago when I made the switch to NHL because I wouldn't be doing Oil Kings games anymore. So it was fun. It was a fun ride with them. Went to 2 Memorial Cups with them, watched them play a couple Memorial Cups. And so, yeah, it was a nice gesture by them. So I wanted to get that jersey framed and put up. And it was a nice thing that they did for me.
Awesome. I love it. So you can check it out at Oilers Nation and Sports 1440 YouTube right now. Now, DVD, let's start with the Podkolzin contract. 3-year extension. 2.95, as I alluded to last week. People were saying, oh, the Oilers can't sign anyone until they sign McDavid. Stan Bowman said, no, that's not the case. And so there's one contract. I think we'll probably have another contract here in the next few days, either Wallman, Ekholm, or the head coach. So what did you make of Podkolzin? 3 years, 2.95?
No, I think I like it. I think that's a good number for him. I think they're looking for more out of him. I think offensively, and I think he has more to give offensively. And we talked to him today. He said, "Yeah, I want to do that. I want to, score more goals. I want to take maybe 200 shots, and if I score in 10% of those shots, maybe I can get 20 goals this year." So he has the target. But he's a very serviceable player. He's a guy that can play up and down your lineup. And Leon Draisaitl has said many times last year how much he likes Podkolzin because he creates space. He fights for the pucks. He gets him the puck. So yeah, he's a very good player, and he kind of figured it out here in Edmonton where he struggled a little in Vancouver. So yeah, I think that's a very good contract to get a very serviceable player at a very good rate for the next 3 years, and he can just focus on hockey now. He doesn't have to worry about his contract situation going into the season. He's got secured for another 3 years. So yeah, I think it's a very good signing by the Edmonton Oilers, and I do think that Podkolzin is still a player that's improving. He's going to get better and better and better throughout this contract. So I think that's always important when you get a guy that you think is going to improve, and I think he will. I think he can be a guy that can get you 15 to 20 goals at one point if he plays up to the lineup and he starts shooting the puck a little bit more.
Derek Van Diest joins us. With McDavid and Draisaitl starting the season together with Trent Frederick, at least for now, do you see Podkolzin playing with Nugent Hopkins or Tomasic?
I think he'll play with Nugent Hopkins. I think he'll start there and then see how he does. Like you talked about, Chris Knobloch talked about today that he wanted to get more offense out of him. So you got to put him in offensive situations. You got to give him ability to kind of create that offense. And I think Nugent Hopkins will love playing with him. Like you talk about Draisaitl, he got him the puck. Nugent Hopkins, you can get him the puck as well. And I think maybe playing with Nugent Hopkins, he'll be able to kind of be more apt to shoot the puck. And I think Chris Knobloch talked a little bit about that today, playing with guys like Draisaitl, guys like McDavid. You just want to give him the puck back. You don't want to shoot the puck. You don't want to turn it over. You don't want it to shoot the puck and, goalie make a save and then the puck comes back the other way on you. So I think maybe playing with Nugent Hopkins a little bit more will kind of free him up to take more shots, to go to the net, to try and score a few more goals. So I think that's where he'll start right off the bat, and to see if you can kind of has that offense that you can get out of him, because I think it's there, and I think everyone thinks it's there. I think he has that ability. I think he just has to be put in situations where he can succeed and he can kind of gain some confidence. So yeah, I could see him on that second line for sure starting the season.
Chris Knobloch outlined pretty in-depthly, actually, his reasoning and thought process on why he's going to start McDavid and Draisaitl together. Obviously, the absence of Zach Hyman played a big role. I think it shows to me they went after Rantanen last year. I think the Oilers at the trade deadline, they're getting a scoring winger. It's become obvious to me because, after Zach Hyman, they feel like they don't have another one, which is fine. So they're going to have to go get one. But what do you make of the coach? And whether we agree or disagree, I will say one thing. I like the fact that he really outlined exactly why he's doing it. Whether
he said
work, but he outlined it pretty in depth.
Yeah, he basically said, well, I know that's going to be a good line regardless. Like, I know for sure those guys are going to work regardless of who's playing with them. And the interesting part was he said he kind of frees up the other guys. He frees up some ice time for the other guys, and so the other guys can kind of show what they have. And I honestly think that he's still looking to see what he has in Tomasic, what he has in Frederick, what he has in some of these new guys, what he has in Isaac Howard, what he has in Savoy. So I think this gives him an opportunity. Okay, we're going to play Draisaitl and McDavid on the top line, and let's see those other guys. If we put them in situations, we got to give them the ice time to see what they have, because I think there are a lot of new faces here that you're not sure what they can provide, what's in their game, what's going to happen. Like, you're going to get the exhibition season, of course, to kind of evaluate them a little bit. But come the regular season, I still think that you're wondering what guys you can move into your top six, what guys are just basically effective bottom six guys, what guys you can play on the left, what guys you can play on the right. Can another guy play center? I think that's one of the things that they're still looking at. They're still looking at to engage. And if you can just kind of keep McDavid and Draisaitl out of that mix for now, just keep them up top together, keep them on that line together, you're going to have a solid group. Then you can kind of move the pieces around beneath them and try and figure it out. Like, this is going to be a situation where we have, every coach that's ever come in here has always moved them around, played them together, moved them around. So I think that's a situation there. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation we had with him today, because he's explaining exactly why I'm doing this and what's happening. And it'll be interesting to see you're right. They're going to need a scoring winger. It's like when Zach Hyman comes back, they need another guy. They've been looking for that guy for a long, long time. I don't think Trent Frederick is that guy. To me, he's a bottom six guy. Play on your third line, can bang and crash and do some of those things. I'm not sure if the offense is there for him, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And also, Jason, I think they want to get off to a way better start than they have the last two seasons. And maybe they're thinking this is our best bet to try and kind of put some wins together here. And get off to a start. So for a change, we're not chasing the season like they have been the last two. So I think they want to get off to a good start. I think the team is in a better mental headspace than they were coming in last season. I think everybody is. I think everyone's been able to turn the page this time around as opposed to last year. I think a lot of players and people were lamenting, man, we came so close. We were so close. But I think this year they're thinking, okay, you know what? We lost to probably a better team. Let's turn the page and focus on this season. So I see a more focused group going into the season opener this year.
Derek Van Diest joins us from NHL.com. Derek, Zach Cassian and Pat Maroon say, shut your trap when you think I can't score. Because look at those two guys. No one thought they could do what they did. I agree with you. Obviously, Trent Frederick, the one thing that why I thought he could work was is a certain style of player that produces with McDavid. Big bodies that kind of play a north and south game that are decent on the wall. And that's really Frederick's game. Now, does he have the hands to finish? We'll see. Because, Maroon, pre-McDavid and post-McDavid, didn't do much. Zach Cassian, the calendar year of 2019 was unreal. Everything else, you know what? Like a lot of players, just not a big scorer. And I don't think Trent Frederick's the long-term solution. I think they're looking to say, can he be a 15-game solution?
No, I agree that. And I still think Trent Frederick has something to prove. Like he came in here last year and he was hampered by that ankle and he wasn't the player that I think people expected him to be. He didn't have a great playoff. He was really struggling. I remember where were we in San Jose before the season, as the season ended and the Oilers stayed in San Jose before they went to LA for the first round. Frederick was on the ice and he couldn't stop on his left side. That's how bad the ankle was. And it was noticeable. It was like, this guy can't stop on one side. Like that's how bad his ankle was. So he played through that. Now let's see, what he has. And I think this is a great opportunity for him because a lot of people kind of maybe raised an eyebrow and said 8 years for him based off of that playoff. But they obviously see something. They obviously believe there's something there. So this will be a good opportunity for him to show, hey, yeah, you know what? I'm worth 8 years. I'm the type of player that's worth that kind of investment to, because I think we're all a little surprised when they came out and said, we're signing this guy to 8 years. And we're like, based on that playoffs, because he was hampered in that playoffs. He couldn't really do much in that playoffs. So I think a lot of people here in Edmonton are interested to see, okay, what can a healthy Trent Frederick do when given that type of opportunity to play with two of the best players in the world?
Derek Van Diest joins us here on Sports 1440. DVD, you look at lines like 2, 3, 4. Is there anybody, I know it's only been a few preseason games and training camp, but has anybody jumped out at you at all, positive or negative, so far through camp and preseason?
Well, I liked the game Matvei Petrov had the other night. I thought he played well. Like he had a goal and assist, but I thought he was noticeable. And I think that's the one thing that you have to be in these games. You have to be noticeable in a good way, whether you're back checking, whether you're winning pucks along the boards, whether you're getting shots off. And I kind of liked his game. I thought, okay, this guy's not, he looks like a player. I also think Matt Savoy is going to be a player. I think I've seen him 2 games now. The rookie game, I didn't put much stock in the rookie game. He's supposed to stand out in the rookie game because he's playing against his peers and he's supposed to be an NHL player, and he did. He scored a couple goals. But I think those two right now have kind of stood out and to me. And I think, I think there's going to be some hard decisions here. I'm looking forward to seeing Isaac Howard. I didn't get a chance. I wasn't watching the Calgary game. I was watching the game here, obviously. So can he play at this level? Is he smart enough to play at this level? Can he read the game? The game is going to be a lot faster than it was in the NCAA. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot stronger. So I'm interested to see what his camp is like. But yeah, there's some things there you kind of looking out. But I did think Petrov had a pretty good game the other day. He's going to play again today, it looks like, just by looking at the lineup. So I'm interested to see what he does and if he can impress.
Yeah, he's a big wild card for me for sure. I will say that now I was at the game with you, but I was also kind of watching in the corner of my eye the online the game in Calgary, and I had a buddy there at the game in Calgary. And he said easily the most noticeable Oiler player by far was Clattenburg.
Yeah.
And he's actually a Flame fan. So now I know he's not ready to make the NHL, but I'll say here's a player who's doing everything to get noticed, which is like one of the hardest things and probably most underrated things to do for kind of young guys coming in, is to just do something to get noticed. So when you leave and you go to the minors, you've left them with a good impression.
Yeah, he had 2 fights in the rookie game. I think he had 14 minutes of penalties, scored a goal. So he was all over the score sheet. So, yeah, no, you're right. I heard that he had a pretty good game down there. Yeah, he's a guy that, he's going to be noticeable. And you talk about players that are tough to play against, are kind of pains in the butts to play against, kind of annoy people. He could be that guy. He could be that guy that you just don't want to play against, that's needling you all game, that's in your hip all game. The Oilers haven't had one of those guys for a while now. So I think, if he can come and continue to be noticeable, to be noticed, I'm sure they don't want him being in the penalty box for 14 minutes, but I think they do like his aggressiveness. They do like his style. And he's the guy that, goes out there at every shift, tries to do something positive for the team. And I think you need guys like that on your team.
Yeah, no, definitely. The Emberson Stetcher, that's the one real battle when I look amongst the blue line for that number 3 right defense. If you had to grade it today, who do you think? I think Emberson starts ahead of Stetcher, and doesn't mean he ends there, but I think he starts there. What do you think?
Well, that's going to be tight. I think I want to know how Emberson reacts last year, because he kind of got dropped towards the end of the season and in the playoffs, right? I like Stetcher's game. I really do. But you're right. That's going to be a real tough competition. I think it's going to go down to who can defend better, who can make better plays in his own end. I think Emerson's he's still developing. He's still a player that's kind of developing. Stetcher, he's been around for a little bit. You know what you're getting with him. He's a reliable guy. He can make a play. But I think Emerson is still a little bit up and down. You saw that a bit last year. If he can kind of level off his game, they're probably looking at him going, this is the guy we want. They went out and got him. They wanted him here. And I think we've seen the peaks in this guy's game. Like, he can be a good defenseman, but then we've seen some valleys as well. So I think when it comes to being a defenseman in the NHL, you have to be a kind of a steady guy. You're not up and down. And I think, that's going to be an interesting battle. Like I said, Stetcher, he's a guy that you know what you get. You plug him in, you know what you're going to get with him. And so it's going to be a good battle. But I think you're probably right. I think Emerson probably has that spot. He's going to have to get beaten out for it.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on that one. DVD, have yourself a lovely Tuesday. Enjoy watching the game online, and we will chat at you tomorrow at the rink.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. When we come back, Chris Knobloch on Trent Frederick, Matt Savoy. Where does he see him in the lineup? Nugent Hopkins, McDavid and Draisaitl. The duo will be starting the regular season together. Good idea, bad idea. We'll discuss it on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton is home for sports. It's Sports 1440.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Coming up on Icy Road Drivers, Canadians face the repercussions of an early frost. Will this be a bump in the road, bring a stop to their journey? Or did they get an early reminder that it was time to beat the rush and schedule an expert service appointment at their local Toyota dealer? Because it's time to swap those tires, get that oil checked, and store those summer tires until warm days return. Book your appointment today and ready your Toyota. for the road ahead.
Imagine a busy classroom. Now imagine it if no one was willing to teach. Here's the reality. It's getting harder to keep teachers in the profession and to attract new people to an increasingly challenging job. Pay for teachers has fallen far behind inflation and cost of living. With fair wages, we can keep the ones we have and hire more. But we need the provincial government to step up, because a fair deal for teachers is a good deal for kids. A message from the Alberta Teachers Association.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better and on the rocks. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocks.yeg.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.242, welcome back. I don't know if Stuart Skinner is starting. I got a lineup card here from the Jets, and Stuart Skinner's name is not on it. So they have Tompkins and Pickard as the two goalies. And considering that Tompkins played all the game, I would think Calvin Pickard is going to play tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, according to this card from the Winnipeg Jets. Forwards that are veterans that are going, you have Nugent Hopkins, Tomasic, Troy Stetcher, Ty Emberson, Max Jones, Kasperi Kapanen, Matt Savoy, Adam Henrique. Then you got other guys, Quinn Hudson. Hey, the local guy, Luke Prokop. He was there. Boaki, Riley Stillman. So now, if I'm doing the math here, I'm counting that they have an extra defenseman listed. So the Oilers might just be flying someone extra. They've done that in the past, simply because, if someone gets sick, someone gets hurt, they don't want to be shortchanged in a preseason game. So usually you bring an extra one. And so we'll see who's actually in the lineup or not. But those are the players listed. You got some other guys, Rem Pitlick, Quinn Hudson, Atro Lepinen, Seth Griffith, Matvey Petrov, Matt Capone, Max Jones. Capone was one of the 6 forwards who didn't play the other night. So I'm guessing he'll probably get in there. Cam Dineen also listed. So we'll see. But Henrique, Savoy, Kapanen, Tomasic, Nugent Hopkins, all listed. So I would think those are going to be your top 2 lines in some form, with Nugent Hopkins as a center, Tomasic with center. I think you might have Henrique playing on that line. No, Mangiapane's still not, so he's not going to play. So I'm guessing he will play Wednesday at home. We do know McDavid, Frederick, and Draisaitl are going to play tomorrow night in Edmonton. So there you have it. Now let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. XC60s to 2025s, blowing them out. Great savings, great deals right now on an unbelievable vehicle. So check it out at volvocarsedmonton.com. And let's hear from Chris Knobloch. And first of all, when you when you look at Nob, well, I guess let's start with the big story. Trent Frederick, and he's going to get the opportunity tomorrow night and probably at least for a few games to play with McDavid and Draisaitl. Why Frederick?
Yeah, we want to see Freddie up. Obviously, we're missing Hyman for the first month of the season, and we need to find somebody to move up and play that top 9 role and maybe the top line. Freddie is a good candidate because, one, I don't think he gets enough appreciation of his skills. I think he is good with the puck. But I think 2 most important attributes playing with McDavid or Draisaitl is, one, being good on the walls. You're able to break the puck out, get the puck in their hands. That's one part of it, and the other one is in the offensive zone, being able to just be around the net. And you look at the success Hyman's had last few years playing with those skilled guys. Freddie hopefully can have some of that success too, because like I said, he has pretty good hands. He can make plays, and hopefully now that he hasn't had the opportunity to play in top 6 ever, and we hope that with that opportunity he can provide a little more offense.
You never know until you give a guy a chance. So we'll see if it works out or not. Now, again, I don't know if this is a long-term thing. Might just be until Zach Hyman comes back in the lineup, but Trent Frederick is going to get the first look. And Knobloch, of course, asked, McDavid and Draisaitl playing them together and, versus apart. What's the reason? What's his main reason why he wants to start the season with those 2 together?
I think for the most part, we can go split them, go on separate lines, or we can play them together. I think one thing is when they are playing together, you get a lot more out of the rest 3 of the lines. And that might sound a little ironic, but one is ice time that's available. When those 2 are playing, 21, 22 minutes, there's not much left for lines 3 and 4. And often they feel left out. Now, when Leon and Connor are playing together, it allows those 3 lines to stay in the game and play their regular shift more often. And they also play more to their identity. Because when you've got a guy that maybe is not a top 6 guy, but he's playing with Leon or Connor, they kind of have to play to a top 6 line identity, even though maybe that's not part of their game. So this is Leon and Connor together, the other guys playing to their identity. Yeah, I find that maybe you get more out of those guys. And we saw it last year with Nugent Hopkins when he was playing with Arvidsson and Podkolzin. They were putting up probably just as much offense individually, just that they were able to play their game a little bit more.
Without Hyman, is there, this experiment with McDavid and, well, it's not an experiment, but if Hyman's healthy, we probably don't see McDavid and Draisaitl. Is that fair?
Yeah, this is what our plan is right now, but obviously it can change. I think we want to see what we have from everybody else. We want to see how guys mesh, and I think without Hyman, we're kind of maybe a little slim on having top 6 winger talent, and then you kind of have pieces, and maybe that you have 2 lines that you don't really like. And when I know I have Connor and Leon together, you definitely have a line that you like, no matter who's on that line. Right now, we're trying Freddie, and it might be somebody else, but it'll work. No matter who they're with, it works. And I think with the other guys, they can just play their game, whether it's a checking role, energy line, whatever it is. I think we can get more out of those guys.
Well, that's totally valid. And his reasoning, when you look at it and say, okay, if McDavid and Draisaitl are on their own lines, they're each playing 21-20, that's a lot of minutes. So if they're on one line, in theory, there's a lot more minutes for other guys. They're going to feel more engaged. You got no excuse. So I think the team, he wants individuals to get off to a good start. I think he wants the team to get off to a good start. And usually those, like, if McDavid and Draisaitl get off to a good start, there's a better chance the Oilers get off to a good start. As I said, and a good start by their standards. McDavid, the last 2 years, fairly quiet in this first 10 games. 10 points. 2 goals 1 year, 2 goals the next. The Oilers 1 year, 2-7-1, the other year, 4-5-1. McDavid's talked about wanting to get a better start. If he plays, like when he performs to his capabilities, he just automatically brings up the rest of the team. That's just how it is on any team, right? There's very few teams. Man, your best players playing average for a long period of time, and we're a great team. Which doesn't happen very often. So I think McDavid is primed to have a good start to the season. What about Matt Savoy? What is Knobloch's kind of strategy with Savoy? Does he see him getting up in with a McDavid or Draisaitl, or would rather let him get comfortable on a third line, for instance?
I think it's important that he's in a position that he has success and there's not too much pressure on him. And I think we can always move him up in the lineup. And I think if we're in a position, and there's going to be bad games, there's going to be stretches where he's not playing his best, and there's going to be times where you're moving him down, and I don't think that's good for the long run. I think it's good for him to start low and move up, and he's played really well. And I think also, even if he is on the fourth line, I can see him being on special teams. So maybe he's on the fourth line, not getting as much ice time as other guys, but a possibility of being on the power play, being on the penalty kill. So there'll be a lot. So if he's on the power play and penalty kill and playing on the top line, well, that's probably too tall of an order for a guy who's just coming in the league. So yeah, we'll find.
And that makes sense. If you start at the top and then you struggle and you come down, I think it's harder than, hey, start in the third line. He's going to play in the penalty kill, and the fact that, he mentioned the power play. So is that going to mean he's probably on the second unit? I would think, and I know they want to play their second unit a little bit more this season. And he gets some confidence, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, geez, we just got to play this guy a little bit more. Awesome. I'd much rather do it that way than have a guy lose his confidence, because, man, you lose your confidence. Ask any NHL player. It is hard to come back from that one. Very hard for sure. And then Knobloch, Vasily Podkolzin was the other big story today. And what does he feel as a coach? It says about Podkolzin when you hear his teammate Leon Draisaitl talk about it.
Well, an ultimate player, you always want players on the ice that make other players better. And I think Pods has those attributes. Like he's, pretty good defensively. He's hard on the forecheck. He makes it uncomfortable for the other team with his, he's a strong guy who's not afraid to finish his checks. Last year, I think he had about 8 goals, and, I think we'd like to see more out of him in that aspect. And I think it's just more of a shoot mentality, because he does have a good shot. It's not only Leon praising him for his play. There's numerous guys in the lineup that like playing with him because of the type of player he is.
It's very true. He's pretty consistent. And at any level, a coach, when you have players that okay, I'm coming in a game, this is what I'm going to get from a player, it's a big, big bonus. And that's what you want. So we'll see where it goes tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. And it looks like Calvin Pickard is going to get the start in goal tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, Greg's, any reason why the lines aren't released beforehand? Every other team has lines available at 9 a.m. That's a good question, man. Every organization has different reasons for it. I've never really understood the secrecy of preseason lines, for God's sakes. It's the preseason. Okay. I can tell you that, Nugent Hopkins, Tomasic are likely going to be your top 2 centers tonight. You have Kapanen, you have Savoy, you have Henrique, all in the lineup. So I would think those would be the guys in your top 6. Then I'm looking at the who else? Henrique, Savoy, Kapanen, Tomasic, Nugent Hopkins, and maybe Ike Howard could be the other one in your top 6. Could see that tonight. So keep in mind, Savoy played with Tomasic in the first game. So if they played together again tonight, I think that's a little bit of an insight into kind of what Knobloch's thinking. And maybe you see them on starting on your third line, and then the left winger remains to be seen. But I wouldn't be stunned if maybe Kapanen, although I could see Kapanen playing with Henrique and Nugent Hopkins potentially tonight. So we'll see. And then you have Ike Howard, or maybe, maybe Howard's going to play with Nuge? We'll find out. But those are probably going to be your top 6 forwards, I would think. Tonight on defense, as I mentioned, Emerson is in, Stetcher is in, guys like that. Luke Prokop is going to get game tonight. No Bouchard, no Ekholm. I would think because Draisaitl and McDavid are both playing tomorrow night, you'll probably see Bouchard in the game tomorrow as well. And, well, they won't have Nugent Hopkins. There's no way they're playing him back. Well, I should say no way, but I'd be stunned in preseason if he goes back-to-back. So Frederick's in. I bet you the first unit power play will have Frederick in front of the net, Draisaitl, McDavid, Bouchard, and someone else. I don't know who will play there. Actually, Mangiapane's not playing tonight. Maybe it'll be Mangiapane. That would be my guess on that. We'll see. But usually in preseason, you don't love sending guys back to back. They've done it, but they try to avoid it when they can. Hey guys, maybe Trent Frederick is the Oilers' Zach Bond off the Eagles. Just needs a chance in a top role. Ooh. That's a very unique comparison. I like it, Triple C in a truck. Not saying that, obviously it's 2 different sports, but I said, hey, maybe Frederick is the Zach Kassian of 2019. When Zach Kassian, that calendar year of 2019, 23 goals, 5-on-5, 45 points, 5-on-5 in 82 games. He was tied for 13th in goals with Pasternak and Kyle Connor and others, like some good goal scorers. This is all 5-on-5. And then he was 16th in points with 45. So dare to dream. Dare to dream. Hey, guys, I'm curious why Knobloch thought it was necessary to make the announcement early in training camp. It feels like he pulled the rug from under Savoy, Tomasic, and anyone else vying for a top 6 win minutes. Nick from Nick M. Nick, really? Why? The second line's still wide open. What are you talking about? He's playing McDavid and Draisaitl together. After tonight, there's 5 preseason games left. I don't see how this pulls the rug. Yeah, I think you're way overreacting, my man. Way overreacting. There's still there's Frederick. The coach said he's going to get the first look. He's not a guarantee, so that spot's still not confirmed. There's only one top 6 winger spot that's guaranteed. Leon Draisaitl. Now, Nugent Hopkins will be the second line center. Who are his 2 wingers going to be? But the coach outlined Savoy, he wants to be realistic. I think fans have unrealistic expectations. You don't coach in pro hockey guessing and hoping that guys are going to come in. You have more of a realistic approach. This is the NHL. It's the best league in the world. You have very few guys who just come in and shock you. Right? And Tomasic, he's actually always played center. I think the coach talked to him and he's like, hey, you know what? We'll keep him where he's really comfortable. Let him get his feet wet in the NHL as a center iceman. And so I don't see it pulling out the rug at all. You're saying Savoy and Tomasic, you guys are probably going to be top 9 forwards in the NHL. I'll tell you, if David Tomasic, when I spoke to him and he was like, man, hey, I make this team. I don't care where I play. And if you'd have told him, buddy, you're going to play your favorite position, which I asked him, and he said it was center. And you're going to be the 3rd line center, and you're probably going to be on the 2nd unit power play. Sign me up. He'd be doing cartwheels. He wouldn't feel like the rug's pulled out from under him. Come on now. Hey, guys, I don't see Nugent Hopkins can drive a second line. Camaros Chris. Chris, can you name the second line centers in the NHL who drive a line? Okay, it is the most overused, inaccurate phrase, drive a line. Okay? The Oilers have the luxury of having Draisaitl and McDavid do it. I don't need Nugent Hopkins to do it. You need the whole line to play well together. Right? The coach outlined his viewpoint. Everyone can disagree. But you don't need Nugent Hopkins to drive a second line for the second line to be successful. Because there's lots of second lines that are successful without a center iceman driving the line. It's all 3 pulling equally. Draisaitl's a superstar. He can drive a second line. Great. He can drive any line. So can McDavid. But actual drivers of a line in the NHL, there might be at most 15, I would say. McKinnon, David, Draisaitl, Kucherov, Jack Eichel, Crosby still. Geez, I don't even know if there's 15. Like Mark Scheifele, I'd probably put Scheifele in that boat. Like Austin Matthews, I would think is a guy that I would expect to be able to drive a line.
Rantanen?
Yeah, Rantanen's
Pasternak's
a winger. He's a really good player. I was just talking more centers.
Okay.
Right. So there's definitely, now that I think about it, I don't think there's 15 centers who can drive a line. To be honest, might be 10. So yeah, I don't disagree that Nugent Hopkins can't drive a second line because I don't expect him to. And if your first line is great, then your second line just has to be okay, and you're fine. And so you could put Draisaitl alone. Then who are you going to play McDavid with? Because you still need someone. Zach Hyman was a really good finisher. Zach Hyman's out of the lineup. If Zach Hyman was in the lineup to start the season, they wouldn't be putting him on the same line. The coach wants a good start. He doesn't want to have two lines he's unsure of because it's based on a what if. So he's going to go with one line that he knows he's going to like. McDavid and Draisaitl and whoever plays with him. And then he's basically challenging his other guy. The players always talk about wanting opportunities. Now they're going to get opportunities. So, for sure. Gregor, Aho drives his line. Well, okay. He's decent at it, but I don't know if I would I would say this. I think Pasternak drives his line more as a winger than Aho does as a center iceman. I would say, I'm looking at 5-on-5 numbers, and Sebastian Aho, is he even in the top 50 at even strength last year? Let me look it up. I don't think he was. He was not. So, what's your definition of driving a line? That's what I would ask. JT Miller? Interesting one. Has he had a season where he was great? Yes. And I like JT Miller a lot, but I think JT Miller would be at the bottom end, maybe, of line driving for me. So, no. It's kind of like the term great. I think we throw it out too often. Everyone's great. No, they're not all great. So I'm a big believer that the Oilers need a good start because I know they've got the longest drought in the NHL of winning their division. And I'm a big believer that those small little details will help. If you have home ice advantage longer, it can help. Doesn't guarantee you success. It just helps you. One less flight every time, maybe cumulative over a 2-month period. That could be a difference. We'll never know. Because so far the Oilers haven't had it. And not only does the team need a good start, I do think McDavid needs a good start. And do you want to start the season with him with two new wingers that he's only ever played 3 or 4 preseason games with? I could see why the coach is like, no, we need a good start. McDavid needs a good start. Let's put them together. Guys, I've said this for years. We had enough talent to put out the bottom roster. Put Connor and Leon together and let the horses run. From Tyler. Hey, guys, 0-second power play chance. The second power play gets more ice time. Just hurts 5 other players gain some confidence. 9 forwards will sit watching 2 players and not feeling a part of things. Bad formula. Does not get across the champion finish line from truck in a park. All right. Hey, Greg's, I'll say this. You drive a great show. Well, thank you very much. So, good line mates, though, so I'm not sure if I'd drive it alone. But some days, a little bit. Definitely not the full 4 hours. I need a break. That's why we'll go to Connor Halley, because he'll drive you through this sports update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. AC Furnace conks out tonight. Give him a call. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Vasily Podkolzin to a 3-year contract extension with an AAV of $2.95 million. The 24-year-old had 8 goals, 16 assists last season, adding 10 points in 22 playoff games. Oilers in action tonight, taking on the Winnipeg Jets just after 6. Jonathan Toews will make his Winnipeg debut. Major League Baseball tonight, the Jays taking on the Red Sox. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. You've also got the White Sox in New York taking on the Yankees. Tigers up against the Guardians. Orioles host the Rays, Rockies and Mariners, Dodgers up against the Diamondbacks, and the Athletics take on the Astros. Some changes coming to the majors next season. as teams can challenge 2 calls for a game and get additional appeals in extra innings. The challenges will have to come from the pitcher, catcher, or batter, signaled by tapping their helmet or cap, and a team can retain the challenge if successful. WNBA playoffs tonight, 2 games. 5:30, the Lynx host the Mercury. Minnesota leads that series 1-0. Then at 7:30, the Fever will try to take a 2-0 series lead over the Aces in Sin City. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Terry Ryan, and we'll hear another edition of Cam Pate's 2-Minute Warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
God said, I need somebody to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, go to town, and stay all night at a meeting at the school board. So God made a farmer.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We are so thankful God made a farmer. For the month of September, it is our goal to feed 500 families. With every vehicle sold, we will feed a family.
Utilizing
So please help us reach
Tuesday
our goal. Visit us
afternoon.
online,
How are
NorthgateGM.com.
Silent Night Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior
Gregor
Prospects
Connor
Hockey League,
Halley.
Silent Rides Charter Company, the
Sports
Hockey Super League, and the
for
newly
us.
launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena.
I
The
don't
Silent Ice
know
Center,
if Stuart
a new
Skinner is starting. I got a
state-of-the-art
lineup card
entertainment
here.
facility is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
It's time to rev up your engines at the Finning Sales Event today. Take advantage of event exclusives and score big with 0% financing. Demo the latest Cat heavy-duty equipment as they celebrate 100 years. Plus, you can pick up your perk with every equipment purchase, $2,000 in additional discounts or free select attachments. Big machines, big savings, big fun. That's today. Edmonton Finning, 10910 170th Street Northwest.
Stop juggling lowest bid contractors, because at Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix, one call does it all. From concrete supply to cribbing and pumping, we've got your project covered. Locally owned and operated, Wetaskiwin and Ready Mix is proud to deliver on spec and on time every time, because we know quality concrete isn't cheap, and cheap concrete isn't quality. Send Wetaskiwin Ready Mix your blueprint. We'll handle the rest. Wetaskiwin Ready Mix, 780-352-4301.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan for all your residential water needs. Your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 3 o'clock. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. David Tomasek not playing tonight. So there you go. But guys like Nugent Hopkins is playing. Henrique is playing. Matt Savoy is playing. Calvin Pickard is going to start in goal. None of the big guys, McDavid, Draisaitl, Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, Wallman, Frederick, Mangiapane. I forgot him. I should probably add him in. Also, not going. So, forgot about him. He's not playing. So, I'll find out too. Podkolzin, the new contract boy. He's not going to play. So, and again, just a reminder, because we got a lot of texts coming in our EWEL inbox, 833-401-1440, that the game, I know it's listed as a TSN3, but on TSN, remember, is not a national broadcaster, so you won't get that game if you're in the Edmonton area. But you can get on Oilers Plus, or if you have the NHL package, you can get it there. So there you go. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. It's the Gregor Show presented by Play Alberta.ca, where get in the game tonight. Lotto Max, $31 million. Good luck. Just one of you win. We want to have a party. That'd be great. Good luck. Play Alberta.ca. Let's welcome to the show. Of course, hosts his own podcast. Stars as Hitch and Shorzy. Is in the Newfoundland Hall of Fame. Former NHLer. Terry Ryan joins us. T to the R. How are you doing?
I'm not bad. How are you guys doing? I'm busy barking, heading down to Boston on Thursday for the Chicklets Cup, and then Friday, Saturday in Toronto for a fundraiser, and then Edmonton out Sunday to Wednesday. So I got a big week coming up.
So now that's ball hockey, correct? That you're playing down at the Cup?
Yeah, I'm not even playing. I just don't have time. I got to do an event on Friday, Saturday in Toronto. So, but it is my team, the Chicklets Cup. We've done it for years. It's all guys I play with in the summers for like I've said like 20, 25 years now. We're all buddies. Most of us are from Newfoundland. Guys I played with on the provincial team in Newfoundland, and then a few on the Canadian team. Good team, good turning.
All right. So you're there. You just go down to drop the ceremonial ball, or what?
Well, I'm like the captain of the big deal selects, right? The Chicklet boys there, like, and so Biz plays, but then other than that, we've done it now 5 years, I guess, and it's, you know, our team is made up of me and my buddies, and I'm the captain. So I'm going to go down and ceremonially like pass it off and maybe give it. We got a couple of guys picked up and just explain a little bit of a background. I suppose you could say Chicklets want some content out of it, and I can explain it all. You know, why I took the guys I did. You know, we're buddies and everything, and they like to have a little bit of a backstory before we go in. Why not?
Okay, well that's fair. Does Whitney ever play, or is his ankles not allow him to play?
Yeah, he's never played. No, Biz plays and was fairly new at it, but I mean, he's a good runner, and it's a lot smaller, man. We go 5-on-5 in regular, like when I just told you we won the Nationals last month and everything. That's 5-on-5 with a floating blue line. Yeah, we're in this Chicklets Cup, it's like way smaller. When I say smaller, I mean like 10 times smaller. It's really small. It's like the almost blue line in a normal rink.
And is it 5-on-5 still?
3-on-3.
3-on-3.
So it's a completely different, a little bit more of, you know, you're whacking it around. There's not as much skill, but now, not that the team that beat us last year was just another bunch of guys from Canada. Not that they weren't skilled. They are skilled. I just mean, if you're a team of runners that whack the ball around, you'll probably have a better chance on the 3-on-3 than on the 5-on-5. You can get exposed.
Yeah. TR, a few things. Podkolzin gets a 3-year extension with the Edmonton Oilers, a $2.95 million AAV. He's got his best players love playing with him. His coach trusts him, and now he gets a pretty good deal.
I think that works for everybody. Am I wrong? And if any fans or anybody with any interest in the team would think otherwise, and if they're iffy on the deal, just listen to Leon Draisaitl and the rest of his teammates talk about him. So, I mean, we saw it. You know, he's a good player. We knew that the year before. I really do think that you know, his points were down. They give that a lot of that's new team bounces. I think a lot of it is bounces. I think you're going to see a bigger year, and it's not always easy to chalk it up like that. But everybody has ultimate confidence. It's a fantastic deal, I think, for anybody that you want to have on board that's going to play an important role. Looks like he's going to play an important role. Salary cap's gone up, and you got him for a good deal. Why not?
Oh yeah, I think it's I think it's going to be it's a really good chance to be a solid deal. And you know, if Podkolzin continues to improve, this could be a really good value contract for the Edmonton Oilers. I think at worst it'll be a fair value contract, and it's got potential. Like, I'd be surprised if Podkolzin suddenly hit the ditch and didn't live up to being a 2.95 player for the next well, I guess technically starting next year for 3 years. So they got him under contract basically for 4 more seasons. Chris Knobloch is going to load up his top line to start the season, and he outlined why. Zach Hyman isn't here. He felt like, you know, with Hyman gone, you know, they're a little thin in top 6 wingers. And he's like, you know what? Then I look at him like, I'm not sure I like my 2 lines. This way, I know I really like one of my lines, and I'm confident in the other line. So he's going to put McDavid and Draisaitl together. It'll start with Trent Frederick. We'll see, how long that lasts. It's not a guaranteed one, but it sounds like McDavid, Draisaitl for an extended period of time to at least start the season. Now, of course, that could change in Game 5, depending on what's going on. Nugent Hopkins, second liner. David Tomasic right now is going to get a little bit of a run as a third line center iceman where he played all of last season. What do you make of this? And what do you make of Frederick? Do you think he could maybe emulate Zach Kassian, who ran shotgun with those two and did very well for an 82-game stretch?
Yeah, there's a lot I liked about Kassian. I like that he often, his legs would go a little bit faster than his mind, but he really got people into the game. And I'm talking people, I mean fans as you're watching. I'm sure he got his teammates in. Frederick knows what he's got to do. He's comfortable. He's on a great team at the beginning of an awesome contract. People got confidence in him, and he's got a couple of the best players on the planet. Not only on his team, but on his line. And I mean, this is what exhibition is for, though, right? You try everybody. I mean, it doesn't sound like at first you would say speed. You would go, what? What about? There's other guys. But when you really, really break it down, he's an NHL player that has a lot of assets. I mean, he is fairly smart. He can make a pass. He's not scared to go to the danger zones. So I think that's what I would kind of want in exhibition anyway. I don't think people are going to be running at the best players, but it has happened, and it's nice to have a guy like that there. Second of all, and third, exhibition, you try everything, man. You just, it's going to be a long season. The bonus part of this is for the players is that it's a shortened exhibition season. But when you're a coach, you kind of want to experiment a little bit. There is a lot of good that comes out of exhibition. It's not just the younger players getting a chance. People often beat that horse. Who's going to make it? What about the young guys? How do they look? Right? Look at how fast Schaefer was the other night. Unreal. He's going to make. But outside of all of that, right, there is coaches trying to see what the best combinations are, how people respond that have been there for years. How some guys are in the league for 10 years, man, and just like, okay, what are they going to do here? How's their body holding up, right? It's all a turnover of not only players, but ideas, changes. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. I think it'll be a decent fit. I'm kind of curious. But anyway, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, what's your expectations from Mangiapane?
It's a great question. I know, okay. The guy is proven. The guy's proven that he can put the puck in the net. I don't think. I think I can see why he would have been attractive because I think he might have a huge upside. That's what I think. I think. And putting him around so much offensive talent, I think you're probably going to bring out the most unless he's lost something. Unless he's lost a step or he's injured, what better a team to bring out that offensive prowess that sometimes has been hot and cold, but we know is there. Didn't work the best for Skinner. Maybe it works for Mangiapane. It's not a surprising fit for me. How well he does, I guess, is up to him, but I do think it's one of those deals that could end up looking great.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to kind of see where he fits in. I think we probably won't really know until Hyman returns because I think Mangiapane would be a benefactor of playing with either McDavid or Draisaitl, like the vast majority of players in the league would at that point, because you know what, he's a complimentary winger, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm kind of curious. I think he'll add a little bit of speed and tenacity to this team. I know he's not a very big body, but he can irritate the opposition, and I think that's the thing. I think we'll see a lot more of that. From Trent Frederick this season now that he's healthy.
Now that he's healthy, and he gets to come in off the start of the year too, and really, I often find when someone gets traded to a team, you're almost trying to, and especially when you're going for the cup, you don't want to overstep, right? Like you almost want to blend into their chemistry. Now you get to start a bit of your own, right? Now you're starting from scratch. You got a little tiny bit of experience with the team, a lot more experience in the league, and now you're coming in as proven vet that's got confidence. The team has confidence in you. And I think maybe you get a little bit of more wiggle room to just be yourself and go out there and not only do what you're going to do on the ice, but have the confidence to make plays and to be yourself off the ice. You know, I mean, often you're coming in the situation you came in, and people are scrutinizing every move of the coach, every slot of the four lines, and you know there's a lot of heat in the playoffs. I mean, he squeezed the stick a couple of times and didn't score, and it was like the sky was falling. Now that's nature in Canada. That's the nature of any team when you jump in and they're going on a playoff run, right? So I would be a little tentative to even go out of my nature's or danger zone and make a play. I know he likes to mix it up. You don't want to take a penalty. You know, do you want to set that tone when it's not the tone to set? You don't really know. At the start of the year, you come in and I think you have a way better feel for it, and you actually feel like a teammate who gets to spark the chemistry as opposed to react to it.
Terry Ryan joins us, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, Sports 1440, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Oilers in Winnipeg tonight to take on the Jets, and then they'll be back home tomorrow, preseason. We'll be halfway through the preseason tomorrow already. I love it. I love it. Also, TR, this week, man, it's the final regular season week of the Major League Baseball season, and there are some great races. The Detroit Tigers are on the verge of the greatest potential collapse in MLB history. On July 9th, they were 15 and a half games ahead of Cleveland. 15 and a half. The largest deficit a team has ever made up was in 1914 when they were 15 games back before coming back. And so guess who plays each other tonight? Detroit in Cleveland. They got 3 games there. Then they got 3 games in Boston. Like, my goodness, the sphincters of that Detroit team, they're 1-9 in their last 10. Cleveland is 9-1 in their last 10. It's been a wild 10 days in MLB to see how everything's changed, and suddenly Detroit is hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, man. And baseball, I find baseball is the streakiest of sports. Like, you can often, you can go on a run, but I mean, I know it happens in the other sports, but baseball, and it's a game of inches too, right? You get a couple of guys out, a couple of people even just not feeling it. By the end of the year, even the players who hit 300, look at them. I mean, a lot of fans listening, I'm sure, watch the Jays. Look at them. I think the Jays got 4 or 5 guys that are right around 300, if not slightly over it. Alejandro Kirk, there's one. And I think he's gone in a couple of skids 0 for 20, right? 0 for 25. It just happens, right? So you hope. Now, what's the reasons? There's all kinds of reasons. But in baseball, if there's any mental sport, and you get down and all of a sudden another team can sense that you're a little bit down, and it has to do with pitchers and confidence and early leads. And there's so much. That's why it's the most analyzed. If you look at analytics, at least in my mind, it's talked about the most. I mean, it seems that every single pitch, there's a new stat being mentioned, but that's because it's so diverse isn't the word, but there's so much depth to it, man. Like, they say the hardest thing to do is hit a major league fastball or curveball or whatever, a major league pitch. Those guys are in the majors, but if they're 1 inch, if they ask George Springer, he was talking about it the other day, what's the difference? He said, I don't know. I trained hard, but confidence, and sometimes you just have an off year. I know I'm getting older, but I can't explain for it. But that's often what happens. And I find if you got a hold, that's with the Jays were great to have that team this year, and everybody seemed to pick the other people up when they needed to. And you don't always get that. They had almost the same team last year, right? What happened? There's a few changes and a few late changes this year, but I just think Detroit got down, and of course they did have a couple of injuries. When there's pitchers injured, that's a big deal. But really, I honestly, and now all of a sudden Cleveland's on a run, and if I'm Detroit, now you're thinking about it. And once you start thinking about it, it's the beginning of the end. So who knows what's going to happen? The stats say that both teams could be anybody's game, but I just think given everything that Cleveland has the momentum.
Yeah, it's true. TR, one last one for you. The Jays, they've clinched a playoff spot. And really, if they can go 3-3 this week, The only way the Yankees catch them is if the Yankees go 6-0. So it's a pretty good chance. That's just 500. If you go 4-2, the Yankees can't catch you. It's impossible. So the Jays are in a pretty good spot to not only win the AL but also win the entire American League.
Yeah, and how many more parties is that going to be? That'll be they clinch playoff spot, and then if they happen to get the division, I assume they'll be partying even harder. The point is, it looked a bit excessive the other night, but that's baseball. I guess it's end of a long journey.
They do it in baseball all the time when you clinch a playoff spot. Now, I don't think they do it just like you do it when you clinch a playoff spot. I don't think you do it again when you clinch. I could be wrong, but usually it's in baseball. You clinch a playoff spot, and then you do the celebration. But
hey, I got nothing against it.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I'm like, you know what? You have you play 162 games. My goodness, you might as well have some fun at some point. So.
And you got to think. Even back in the day, like I often talk, and people say the culture's changed. Not as many people go out for beers. I mean, it happens in the NHL and other places still. I mean, you go out for beers, but if I'm baseball, and I played baseball, I was only an amateur level, but even then, like if we wanted, like there was no chance I was drinking the night before. It's a game of inches. You got to swing at a curveball coming in 85. Like, so I just don't. They mustn't have as many chances. They're playing twice as much as a hockey season on slightly less time. So, I mean, it's rare that they even have a day off. I'm not saying they don't have the odd beer, but to combine the win with a day off, I would assume they went out on a pretty good tear. And again, it's all good. I'm not criticizing it. It just often looks almost anticlimactic when there's still so much to play for. Like hockey, I guess, would kind of be the opposite, right? You save the partying, but that's only culture. I'm not down on it or anything. In fact, it's probably great that they get to do that.
Yeah. TR, have yourself a wonderful day. Enjoy the ball hockey, and we will chat with you, I think, next week.
Thanks, Connor. Thanks, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. We'll catch you guys soon.
There you go. That's Terry Ryan joining us before he heads off to another tournament. We'll come back. It is 3:25. We'll get lots more on the orders, and look at a lot of text flying in. I love it. Hockey season is officially back. People are fired up. It's great. 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Sure, your couch is comfortable, but watching the game is always better on the rock. With crystal clear TVs, you won't miss a single play, and the specials are a major league win. Pre-game warm-up starts with specials 30 minutes before the puck drops. Get 69-cent wings and $5.75 Molson Canadian and Coors Light drafts, and play score and win every game for your chance to win big. Be part of the action this hockey season. See the menu online at ontherocksyeg.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Edmonton Elks Indigenous Celebration is back, presented by No Frills. September 27th versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders, featuring Indigenous dance and drum halftime performances, pre-game makers market, and the unveiling of our brand new Indigenous gear. Tickets at goelks.com.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air.
You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
It's like a locker room, minus the smell.
Ew.
Kevin Carius brings the banter, the buzz, and the bold sports talk. Weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Sports 1440. Edmonton's home for sports.
They sure saw you coming. You went in for about $200 in auto service, and by the time Johnny Slick out front was done telling you everything he thought you should have replaced, you got hosed for $3,000. Big Toy Shop won't lie to you, inflate your bill, or waste your time. You'll know exactly what your service actually costs and when it's going to be done. Take your ride to Big Toy Shop, 8315 Argyle Road, 780-298-2797.
Imagine a busy classroom. Now imagine it if no one was willing to teach. Here's the reality. It's getting harder to keep teachers in the profession and to attract new people to an increasingly challenging job. Pay for teachers has fallen far behind inflation and cost of living. With fair wages, we can keep the ones we have and hire more. But we need the provincial government to step up, because a fair deal for teachers is a good deal for kids. A message from the Alberta Teachers Association.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Northwest Crane, available for your lifting and equipment needs. Specializing in selling and servicing cranes, get lifting at northwestcrane.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
$3:31. Ooh, baby, welcome back. I have to say, you know what? There's something about baseball playoffs that is just like when you get into those, like every at bat, it's a little bit more stressful, I find. And it's kind of like, you know what? You're watching NHL playoffs. You get into that third period, and every time they cross the blue line, fans are like, "Oh my God, what can happen?" Right? And so that's what baseball has it for every pitch. And that's what's unique about baseball playoffs. The season is really long, and at times it's like serenity now. I understand it, but man, I love baseball playoffs. I do like that their playoff format is a lot better. I hated that you play one game after 162. Brutal. So I do like their change of format. See, people, leagues change and evolve. I know it's crazy. I'm stunned by how many CFL fans are like, and even like, did you see Nathan? We might have to play Nathan Rourke's rambling rant. Like, did you listen to it, Connor Halley?
Oh, absolutely. Sure did.
Like, did any of it make sense to you? I can't, they're why are uprights Canadian? Like, let's be honest here. Why are uprights Canadian? Like, somehow that's such a fabric of the game.
He talked about things that he liked to tell the Americans that he was proud of. He had extra player, yard off, and the waggle, none of which changed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. Thank you. So I like the game is different because of the waggle, yard off the ball, the field width. Oh yeah, 12 players in the field. You mean everything that's still there?
Yeah.
There was no change. Like, that's why I listened to him rant, and all that when I listened to him rant, like, I don't know if you saw Big Hill. Big Hill was very calm, very reasoned in his approach. And it wasn't like, I get that Nathan Rourke, you can be passionate, but he came across as not even knowing what the rules were, that they were changing. Because none of the things that he said I like to brag about were changed. And they're not going to be changed. They're never getting rid of the waggle. If anything, the NFL will have the waggle in their league down the road. The CFL is never getting rid of it. They're not getting rid of 3 downs. They're not going to go to 11 people on the field. Yard off the ball is always going to be the same. Fair catch is never coming to the CFL. There's lots of differences in the game. Moving the uprights is a smart decision. I don't see it Canadiana. And I'm sorry, I've said it, Cons, on this show for years. I hated rewarding failure. I don't think there's any other thing in sport. Can you think of a rule or a place in sports where you don't do what you're intended, but you still get a point? Can you think of one?
No.
Where you still get anything that gives you points on the scoreboard when you don't do what it's intended that you do. I can't think of it. Right? You intend to intercept the ball when you're the defensive player. You don't just fluke into it. You try to do it. You don't try to miss a field goal. Well, except sometimes you would try to just punt the ball through the end zone and you could win a game. Terrible. So I actually loved that they got rid of that rule. I think it's fantastic. I think in a few years, people are going to be discussing the CFL and not even really noticing the changes that much. I could be totally wrong, but I don't get it. Hey, Gregor, could this be Knobloch rebelling against the GM Summer from Seuss? No. I think Knobloch and Bowman are on very much the same page. And I actually, so much so on the same page that there's going to be a contract extension, I think, by the head coach here. I won't be surprised if it happens before the start of the season, to be honest. So I can see that coming. I think they're on the same page. Zach Hyman's out. That's not the GM's fault. And, lots of your big moves. Like, look at Florida. Who they added the deadline? Seth Jones or Brad Marchand. Pretty two big pieces to winning their team. Your opening night roster doesn't have to be your Stanley Cup winning roster. There's lots of time to shake and bake and make some moves. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Gregor, shutout losses reward for failure. Valid point. I don't like that one. It's true. That is true. I don't love that rule. They're trying to get rid of it. But even an overtime loss is a reward for failure, not just a shootout. Right? So I don't like it. And I do like now, I understand why they do it, because you change the rules of the game, right? You go from 5-on-5 to 3-on-3. It's a significant change of the game. So I can understand why they do it in 5-on-5. I don't love the shootout. I get why they want to end games. They're better in ties, sure. But I would love to see them in the future extend overtime, so you have even less shootouts. I would like that. I guess the question comes down, would you prefer a tie or no? Like, if there's an overtime, you just have a tie. Or would you prefer that? Cons, where would you come out in it? Would you prefer ties over wins, like a tie in 5-on-5, over a win and an overtime loss in 3-on-3?
I like the current system. Like, okay. I'm like you. One day I would love to if they extended 3-on-3 a little bit longer, and that's been something I've been hammering, since we were down the dial. And I know Stretty had said you'll get pushback from the players, extending the overtime. But no, I'm okay with that. I don't like the ties. Ties are good for soccer and occasionally in football, but in hockey, I like to have it settled. I don't mind a loser point in this situation. I would much rather have the overtime.
All right,
shootout, don't love, but a necessary evil, I guess.
And some other notes, one team to watch, and we spoke about it earlier, in the Cleveland Guardians, who are absolutely on fire, right? They, at one point in the season, they were 42-48 through 90 games. 15 and a half games back of Detroit on July 9th. Well, the morning of July 9th, right? So they hadn't played games yet that night. They were 15 and a half games back. Unreal. The Boston Braves had a 15-game deficit back in 1914. The thing about Cleveland is they have been absolutely killing it pitching. In their last 19 games, Cons, do you know how many runs they've allowed in 19 games in baseball?
No.
34. In that same stretch, do you know what the next closest team is?
No.
66. Chicago.
Jeez.
Like, think about that. So Cleveland, over their last 19 games, has allowed 34 runs. The next closest is the Cubbies at 66. Like, that is wild to me. And, Eric, the big man, is killing it for Cleveland. So we'll be watching him tonight as they take on Detroit. But that, to me, is one of the more remarkable stats. Like, 34 runs against, and the next closest team is 66. It's not like it's 34-46. 34-66. Almost half as many runs as every other team in the league. So it's that is mind-blowing stuff for me. And that's a big reason why they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. Detroit is 1-9 in their last 10 games. Now the Jays, they've got Boston. Boston's a big rival of yours, And Boston is in they're in a race for the wild card. They got Cleveland and Houston trailing them, right? But they're only back one game. Like if Boston loses tonight and Cleveland and Houston wins, they're all tied. And one of them will miss the playoffs. So if you're the Blue Jays, you could really make it hard on one of your biggest rivals. Win at least 2 of these next 3. If you sweep the Red Sox, that could be a major reason why the Red Sox find themselves out of the playoffs. So the Jays, obviously, they want to win for themselves, but there's something about in sports, if you can add a little pain to one of your big rivals, you take a little enjoyment in it. You just do. So that's the other one to watch tonight for the Jays and the Red Sox. And the Jays, they're going to have to win too, because the Yankees, no doubt, have they got an easy schedule. They got the White Sox for 3 and then Baltimore for 3. 2 of the worst 4 teams in the AL. So the only way you could have had a better one is if they would have played the White Sox and the Twins. So yowzer. Let's return when we come back. Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning. We'll hear more from the newest contract boy, Vasily Podkolzin. I'm tracking down more of the roster for tonight. I'm going to guess on some of the line combinations, but tracking down the roster. So we'll get to that when we return to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie.
Tanner,
or a
what's
nice
happening?
dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel toe boots. And
what's
most
your
importantly,
think
we wear
about today?
50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous. It's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction
Are
is
you a
hiring.
fan?
Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's
I was
biggest
just gonna
offer
say.
ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
I'm a little hungry.
I've got booster balls from Booster Juice.
Booster what now?
Booster balls. They're little protein bites packed with nutrients. Chewy, crunchy, yummy, and new flavors all the time. Like this little guy. The new mint chocolate booster ball. Peppermint, cocoa, coconut, peanut butter, maple syrup, all rolled up into a delightful little
curious what
bite-sized
that
snack.
poll will get.
Why am I just hearing about this now?
You should put it on our.
Can I have one?
Do the poll. What would you
Milk,
prefer, NHL
Booster
fans? A
Juice,
tie game
Canadian
after
born,
5-on-5
running since
or
1999.
overtime / shootout
Silent
loss?
Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Experience a season of superior luxury, performance, and savings. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Come drive one today. You won't be disappointed. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 1.99%. Farmer. And right now, you can save $7,500 on remaining 2025 XC60s. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
Oh, Japa Machinery Group knows that
I didn't know
XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team
Larry's
will help
brother-in-law.
keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals.
I
Visit
did not know that.
japamachinery.com to find out more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular price pizza when you use the code word 40Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Little sandstorm for you on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back to the Gregor Show with Connor Halley. Declan Cougar running things at Sports 1440, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Be sure to say hello to him in the chat while you're there. It's got a little poll up there. We also got a poll up on X. And so far, Connor, more people agreeing with you when it comes to just keeping it as is. Get the loser point 3-on-3 overtime / shootout rather than go back to a tie game. So interesting. I get it. You kind of get used to it. People don't like ties. They don't like ties. Even if you don't love the format overall, you'd rather have a clear-cut winner. So I get it. I do get it. Now, let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. They are hiring. They're looking for a great job with great benefits. You also get RRSP matching, tuition reimbursement, hiring bonus, and more. Apply today at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town, big fan of plaid shirts, I've learned today. Of course, Cam has born with cerebral palsy, he's in a wheelchair, but do the wonders of technology. He's always been on radio. Now he gets to be, as we take his words, they come to life in the 2-minute warning.
Hey, Gregor, when you surveyed the machinery on the family farm in springtime and you started up one tractor and the roar of the ignition simmered down to a type of grueling, humming assurance that, yes, that tractor was fine and ready to go. Its neighbor? The seat is barely hanging on. The steering wheel is cracked. And when you start it up, it puts and puts and puts and doesn't start. So, thoughtful. Why fix something if it ain't broken? Don't fix it. The Canadian Football League is broken. Has been for a long time. Empty seats are a telling story, and when a team only has 8 home games to make hay, bums in the seats are, I don't know, kind of important. With Monday's announcement from CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston about significant rule changes, it's a telling sign the league fetched the wrenches, screwdrivers, and whatever else needed from Uncle Pete's garage to fix the league. There are a number of changes for all to see on CFL.ca. And for the most part, I like what the league is doing. It will create more offense, yes, but it will also take away the razzle-mazz play that can change the outcome of the game in an entertaining way. Connor Halley made a great point during our morning chat just outside the Sports 1440 studio. Connor said he's going to miss those runbacks from the end zone after a failed field goal attempt. No goalposts within mere yards of the goal line. The only way a return from the end zone will happen now is if the receiver buys a seat behind the end zone, juggles with other fans to get the ball, jumps over the fence, and then runs back. Now, here in Edmonton, we were spoiled by a gizmo, as in Gizmo Williams. Man, could he run back failed field goal attempts. Like 1987, the Grey Cup. Williams' last-minute 112-yard missed field goal return gave the Elks a 36-38 win over the Toronto Argonauts. That was 38 years ago. Perhaps it's time for change. The 2-minute warning weekdays. Gregor, Halley, Tate. Sports 1440.
I can understand the concern about missed field goal returns, and that's why I got Steve Daniels to outline the numbers of how many there are. And so far, there's been 3. So we'll track to see how many there are the rest of the season, right? There's through 62 games, there's been 3. So kind of on average, 1 every 20 games. Looking at, because kickers don't miss as many field goals anymore, right? And I think out of the The missed field goals. I got to look at the exact number, but I think it was like 60% were returned and the other 40% were kneel downs. So you'll miss it for sure, and that's understandable. But if you have more offensive touchdowns overall, will you miss it? Like, I think CFL needs a little bit of uptick in offense. Offense sells games. Is there more lead changes? It's more entertaining in the regular season. If you want clamp down, lock 'em, slobber knocker defense in the playoffs, when teams are battling, go right ahead. And I think people I don't think care as much about a tight defensive game in the playoffs because you have a built-in angst automatically. Like, it's playoffs. You're like, oh my God, every play matters. But in the regular season, bigger offense just sells more. It just does. So now it leads me to the question, Con Man. We had the commissioner on the show yesterday, and he outlined how they've got other changes coming. Not necessarily other rule changes right away, but other things coming. What do you think? I would really hope they've got to figure out a way to upgrade their website. There's no question about it, right? Like that's obvious. Captain number 1, 3, 4, 5, 10, 29, 1,000. I think we'd all agree with that. Anything else you think they would contemplate looking to change?
Oh man, I mean the one rule, and I get hate whenever I say it. I don't like the ratio. I would do away with that. I want the best players on the field. I would look to have some sort of relief if a team does have a Canadian, maybe 90% of their cap or salary goes to the cap. Maybe there's a little cap relief, but I want the best players out there at all times. The for me at least, the passport is not as important. Yeah, I don't know what the next step would be in that sense. For sure, the website needs an improvement. Instituting and promoting the heck out of it. A season-long fantasy football, I think, would go a long way. We've seen it in the past. You can do the week-to-week challenge, but I don't think the casual fan is doing that, and I don't even know if they have one. And I mean, I host a fantasy football show. We look for these sort of things. We want to do one, but has it been promoted as much as it could be? I think that would be another thing you could do to try to get that younger generation into it. They'll do the weekly prizes. I know right now they have the old Dutch pick'em, but a fantasy football league, I think, would be another thing that would probably get a few more eyes on it, because all of a sudden that game between Hamilton and Winnipeg that maybe you're not that concerned about, oh, I've got a couple players in it. Now I'm intrigued by it. Now I want to watch it. And then you start to enjoy it that way. So I just think if you look down south, and I'm not trying to Americanize the game, but look at the business plan, the model that they've used, and what has helped grow the game in Canada. It's been video games. I don't know if they're at that level yet, but fantasy football and, of course, sports betting goes a long way.
Now, what about the playoff format? I wonder, and now this is, I'm thinking a little aloud here, Cons. And I'm always looking, so everybody's like, hey, people were mad because you took something away that they felt was unique to the CFL, the Rouge. So what if the CFL decided, you know what, we're going to revamp our playoff format? What would you think? Because I was thinking, okay, what's another Canadian sport? What would you think of a page format playoff? What if one plays two, then they get a bye? So that's guaranteeing that teams are playing more than one game to get to the championship. Right? Because right now, if you win the East or West, you play one playoff game and you get to the league final.
Yeah.
Do you think it's enough? Because I was just thinking, like, what are things that could make it more entertaining? Now, I have no idea if teams would do it, but I was just, spitballing, and, I was looking at other sports, and so I was trying to look at different formats, right? Obviously we've seen buys in some leagues, and you've seen different things and everything like that. The NHL has changed their format of the playoffs many times. So that's where I'm not one that's Major League Baseball has changed their playoff format significantly. The NFL continues to change theirs. So I'm not one who's like, well, you can never change it. So do you think the CFL, what if they looked and said, we're going to have it so you have to win more than one game to get to the championship? Would that be good?
So one plays two.
One plays two. Then the winner gets a bye.
Yeah.
Right. Meanwhile, 3 and 4 are playing, which I know what that means. Then there's another team in the playoffs. So some people might not like it. Totally valid. But then 3 plays 4. Winner of that plays the loser of 1, 2. Then they play again. So you're going to have to play at least 2 games to get to a championship.
I don't hate it. I'd be curious what the PA would say, like if there might be any hesitation from them. But I mean, It's different. It's outside the box thinking.
Yeah, like you're only adding 1 week to the playoff format here, right? So it's one extra game potentially. Might not. It's not an extra game for the teams in the 3-4 if they lose. Right now, some would say, Gregor, you're weakening the regular season. Totally valid. That's why I brought it up. This is a conversation. Like it's in our society, people are like, yeah, it's idiotic. That's not a defense point. It's ignorant. Come up with an actual conversation piece of why. Well, I'm not sure about that. This concern. Okay, rather than you're an idiot. Like you watch people online. Only the idiots use stuff like that because they don't have the common sense to come up with any actual counter argument. You can't debate. You got to resort to name calling, right? It's embarrassing, right? And it's even worse that you have public figures do it all the time now, mainly in the political world on all sides. Like, oh yeah, just they don't listen to the other side and they just want to call names. It's and people now think it's okay. That's not how you have discussions and debate. Like, remember debate club? You'd have debate club cons. Like, I would love to reinforce that now to see who could actually have a debate and a discussion on real things. Be fantastic. But just because you're a great person who likes to debate, but then if you stand by horrific things all the other time, that's not like, that doesn't free you of that, right? But I just look at it and say, if I'm the CFL and I'm thinking of changes, I wonder if they're thinking about playoff change. Right? It does add an extra gate if you're looking for revenue. Right? Because they're looking at ways to gain revenue. And as a fan of the game, would you be opposed to having to win more than one game to get to the championship? That's really what it comes down to. Right now, some would say, well, if you're going to do that, just go 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. You could. Right? But 1 versus 2, it's not an elimination game, but it gets you a bye week. So it's not a guaranteed bye for the top seed anymore. But there's a battle 1 versus 2. Right?
You win, you earn the bye.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't hate it. I also like, I'm not really concerned about travel in this case, but I wouldn't mind seeing just the top teams. Like when it comes to playoff, if you could just go 1 through 6, whatever it would be, 1 through 8, if you're doing the other way, like where forget division, throw it out. I know we have the crossover rule, but let's just go for it. I mean, these teams travel a lot anyways. It's only going to be 1 or 2 extra games, right? In the playoffs. It's not like, it's Edmonton playing Florida in a 7-game series where they're going back and forth. It's 1 game. I wouldn't mind if they did away with conferences when you get to the playoff picture as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll say this, I think the commissioner is going to look at everything based on what he did, how he went about it, a little bit different. You know what he said? Hey, I've seen what happens when we go to the rules committee. They just shoot down everything. So you know what? We're going to come up with some stuff, and then they can help fine tweak it at the end. So because there's some that got their nose out of joint. Oh, well, geez, you didn't do the rule committee. Well, sorry, the rules committee has shown you that they're unwilling to make they didn't want to put anything in. So I kind of like how he went about it. So I just wonder if that would increase it, because he talked about wanting to increase revenue. So if you have more playoff games, that will increase revenue. And again, it's adding only 1 week. It's not adding multiples. It's just 1 week of your season. That's it. You start 1 week earlier. You don't have to end any later than right now. I just wonder if it's something that if they would consider. There's obviously, there's going to be some negatives to it for sure. The only 1 team missing the playoffs, it's not ideal. I totally agree with you. That's what but is it worth it to add a few more excitement games in the playoffs? That's what we'll have to see. 3:59. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tires. Need tires now, but your wall isn't ready? At Fountain Tire, they've got you covered with 0% financing for 6 months or easy equal payments over 12 months, both with no interest, because road ready should also mean wallet ready. See them today, fountaintire.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Vasily Podkolzin to a 3-year contract extension with a $2.95 million AAV. The 24-year-old had 8 goals, 16 assists last season, having 10 points in 22 playoff games. Oilers in action tonight. Preseason taking on Winnipeg. Puck drop just after 6 as Jonathan Taves makes his Jets debut. In the majors tonight, Toronto Blue Jays are in action, kicking off a home series against the Red Sox. First pitch, 5:07. You've also got the Rays and the Orioles meeting. Yankees host the White Sox. The Mets in Chicago, taking on the Cubbies, Angels and Royals. Rockies up against the Mariners, Dodgers in the desert, and the Padres host the Brewers. Some changes coming next season in Major League Baseball. Teams will be able to challenge pitch calls twice per game with additional appeals in extra innings. Challenges will have to come from the pitcher, catcher, or batter by tapping on their helmet or cap, and the team will retain a challenge if successful. In the WNBA tonight, 2 playoff games. You got the Lynx hosting the Mercury at 5:30. Minnesota leading that series 1-0. Then at 7:30, the Fever can take a 2-0 series lead over the Aces when they meet at 7:30 in Las Vegas. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick and ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Edmonton Elks Indigenous Celebration is back, presented by No Frills. September 27th versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders, featuring Indigenous dance and drum halftime performances, pregame makers market, and the unveiling of our brand new Indigenous gear. Tickets at goelks.com.
At Fountain Tire, get up to 25% off select tires, up to $125 off a set of 4 select Goodyear tires, and $50 off $150 service until October 18th. Restrictions apply. Book today. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Yeah, can I get a... yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie. Now at McDonald's.
Want to know what's happening in sports? Jason Gregor's got you covered with sharp analysis, big name guests, and passion for the city. Gregor's your go-to voice weekday afternoons on Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need: Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
When you get into a new Tacoma, you might suddenly find yourself expertly tackling bumps and boulders on backwood trails with a confidence you just didn't have during pothole season. All that's left to do is drive it home. Get in and go right now at Toyota, where you can lease a 2025 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $115 weekly for 60 months at 6.79% with $7,699 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Imagine a busy classroom. Now imagine it if no one was willing to teach. Here's the reality. It's getting harder to keep teachers in the profession and to attract new people to an increasingly challenging job. Pay for teachers has fallen far behind inflation and cost of living. With fair wages, we can keep the ones we have and hire more. But we need the provincial government to step up, because a fair deal for teachers is a good deal for kids. A message from the Alberta Teachers Association.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on the Ford you want. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 3 o'clock. 4:05. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Jeez, now, those are the fellas. Didn't they have like they kind of brought in the backwards jeans? Did they not, Con? Crisscross?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you wear the backwards jeans?
No, it was before my time.
Before your time?
But I did have a sweater of Bugs Bunny and Wile E. Coyote, maybe wearing their clothes backwards.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I don't think I would have been allowed to leave the house like that.
Like, I wonder what is the like. I know there's some kids, although I don't see it as much anymore. Like, they used to wear their pants kind of in the middle of their rear end. I just was like, is that not uncomfortable? That's always what I never really got about that one. But like, I wonder, is there any like fashion trend amongst the high schoolers now that's kind of equivalent to crisscross? Not that a ton of people did it. Like, there wasn't a lot of people that walked around wearing their jeans backwards like those two. But it was definitely for an artist, they got attention for it, right? Like, because they were kind of a one-hit wonder, were they not? Like, they didn't have a ton of other songs.
No.
No.
And I mean, I would think like what you just said, like when you think of them, what comes to mind? The song and the backward clothes, which functionally, yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know. I don't think I'd be going for that look.
No. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. We got a lot of hey, it's a good conversation. Hey, Greg's, isn't your format rewarding failure? JR on Redder. Well, JR, interesting point, because I'll word it to you this way. If you lose a playoff game in hockey, are you automatically eliminated? If you lose 2, 3, nope. So, well, it would be different than what you're used to. I'm not sure it's failure, because in MLB, NBA, NHL, if you lose a playoff game, you're not automatically eliminated. Not anymore, right? They had the 1-game playoff at times, and they had to expand the NBA to make the 9-10 is a one-time lose and you're out. But the NBA even has this format where 7 and 8, whoever loses that game still gets another chance to beat 9 and 10. So we actually have seen it, obviously, on a different level. So it's just food for thought. It's interesting if sports, you're looking to evolve, and if the CFL is looking to change things, and they've talked about expanding revenue, that would be a way to do it. And I wonder what the appetite would be for, it could add it, it would add an extra game, potentially 2 games for some teams. Greg's under your format, 1 plays 2, but then 2 loses and then they beat 3, then they play again. I'm like, yeah, think about that. So Edmonton plays Calgary, right? Edmonton loses. Then Edmonton beats BC. Then Edmonton plays Calgary again in the playoffs. How awesome would it be for a rivalry? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that, but I think fans would get behind it. Imagine playing the same team in a CFL playoff twice in 3 weeks. It's never happened before. And we know how difficult it is to beat the same team twice in football in a short period of time. Not impossible, of course, but I don't know, man. It's if you're looking for different things, I'm just trying to have a conversation about what could be different. Yay or nay, if you like it or not. So we'll see. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, identical format to the Briar and the Scotties. Well, exactly, Johnny. Well, that's where I came from. I'm not gonna pretend that I looked at curling, and that was where I said, hey, they do this, because I actually went through it at about 20 minutes, and obviously I know a lot, but I was just kind of looking at other sports, thinking in my head, okay, what do they do for format? What do they do? What do they do? So, that's what happens. And way you go. Like, look, even in sprinting, to get to the final, Cons, you don't have to be the fastest in your heat to get to the final. So it's not always having to be the best all the way along. Right now, every sport has different nuances. I don't know how else you could do it in track and field. I totally understand it. Because, if one heat's faster than the other, you don't want to just take the top 4 from each heat. So I understand it. But the page system in curling, we have a lot of curlers typing in, guys, it works in curling. I have to say, I love it. I would love it in football in a game that's infinitely more physical, from Dan. Well, that's my point, Dan. Like, we got rivalries in curling and they're throwing rocks and the rocks are like smashing each other. But, it's not like the teams are out there. Could you imagine if it was contact curling? Guys trying to sweep, you come across, you get one chance to come in and slide. It'd be unreal. So I would see. Hey, guys, apparently the baggy is the way to go now, just like 1984. Workout pants, oversized hoodies, everything fitting huge. Tight-fitting T-shirts would bring a side-eye now to a 16-year-old from Mark. Oh, the bagginess. Well, could be good and bad for that one for sure. Eight 401-1440, 833-401-1440. Yeah, sweatpants and clogs out in public. Yeah. Yes, people like the comfy clothes. My son, who is pretty much an anti-pant wearer, he likes shorts. Like, he would wear shorts even in winter. And I'm like, you're not wearing shorts. It's too cold today. But I got him some like sweatpants. They're not super baggy, but he actually wore them today, Cons. I was like, any parent can, like, there's certain days where you take the small victory, and having no argument, getting the kid to wear some pants out of the house, it's like a big win. It's like you feel like a playoff one. You're high, mom and dad are high-fiving when he leaves the house. Life changes when you have kids. Just, I know you young kids are like, God, that's pathetic. Oh, just you wait. Yeah, I trust me. If I was single and listening to that, I would have thought it was pathetic too. But when you're in it, you're all of a sudden realize it is, it's different.
See a socks and sandals guy too? Because I've noticed, we do our mall walks. That's gaining more traction, I feel. And I like it because that makes sense to me. I always found that to be a very comfortable.
Socks and sandals?
Socks and sandals. But like growing up, ridiculed if you did it. But it feels like the youth kind of were like, we don't care.
Yeah. Well, no, basically the youth are looking like seniors.
Yeah.
The seniors love it. Right? That's basically what's happening. So, yeah. Well, he wears, I'm trying to think if he has sandals. I don't know if he wears socks and sandals. He might. Doesn't wear bare feet a ton unless it's in his Crocs a little bit. So, yeah, maybe.
And the Crocs are cool too, right?
We can have a discussion.
That's enough. Like for the backyard, that makes sense.
For the backyard, 100%. Yes, but not for everything. So, Crocs, they're bordered, like some of the Crocs are bordering on clown shoes. Hey, guys, I own 4 season tickets and have a significant investment in the Oilers every year. At what point do the Oilers owe an answer to their fan base about the McDavid contract? From Jerry. Well, Jerry, I too am a season ticket holder separately from being my radio host. I would say I don't think they owe an answer. Like, when you make the choice to buy tickets, that doesn't guarantee you that you have a say in any contract negotiations or a say in when players sign. Like, what are the, like, I'm not sure what the answer would be to their fans. You can't force McDavid to sign a contract. You can't. It's impossible. Hey, Connor, here's 8 years at $19 million. Here's 7 years at $19 million. Because 19 is the most you can offer. So what else do you do? I'm asking that honestly. Like, you can't force someone to sign a contract. You want them? Because there's when the roles reversed, and the player wants a contract for big money, you're not going to say, well, geez, the team has to. So, yeah, I don't think there's an answer that they can do. They'll keep talking, right? I know that Bowman and Moldova continue to communicate, and kind of that's where it stays. But I don't know if, like, I guess the question would be, what answer do you want to hear? He signed. Well, until he's signed, no one's going to get that answer. Hey, Gregor, isn't that like the old CFL playoff game? We had 2-game total point. Well, no, it's a little bit different. But that is another format they had. That would just be where you're playing the same team. This is one where one plays 2, winner gets a bye. Meanwhile, 3 is playing 4 in the same weekend. Then the winner of the 3-4 games plays the loser of 1-2. Then whoever wins that game plays the team whoever won game 1 and 2 on that side. So it's different. It'll lead to more playoff games. It'll also lead to a longer postseason. So you got to have some buy-in from the players. This is the one where I'd ask Eddie Steele as a player, because, hey, winning a championship is hard, but when you only have to win 2 games to win a championship, right? That's That's my thought process here. This makes you have to win more than just one game to even get to the championship. So that's kind of why I like it. But I have no idea if they'll do it, if it's ever being discussed, to be honest. But it was just when the commissioner said, Cons, they were looking to doing a lot of different things. It just started thinking, what else could they be looking at? The website, I think we all agree, that is something that definitely needs to change for certain. For certain.
How about an app, Gregor? Just quickly. Is there an app?
No, there should be an app.
Like an app might be good too.
Yeah, very good point. Yes, 100%. You guys, what if you gave the best team a bye, 2-3 in that division, played 1-2 in the other division, and had the remaining 4 play for a wild card spot in the lower ranking division? So now you're going to implement a crossover earlier. But still, if you have a bye, that doesn't solve my problem of only having the number 1 team still only has to win once to get to the championship. So that's what I'm looking to change. I just don't know if it's feasible or not, because I do know now the 2-3, with the 1, the problem with mine, and I understand that it's not perfect. So the problem with mine means then 8 teams make the playoffs. So a lot of people might not like that. And that's totally valid. I understand it. I get it. But I'm just looking at ways. Now, the other way, you could have 7 teams make the playoffs, have 1 division, and 1 gets a bye, 2 plays 7, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5, right? Then 1 has to play the winner of 4 and 5. Well, no, then they still only play 1. What am I doing? That doesn't help either. So, no, wrong. Doesn't help out. Hey, Gregor, I'll tell you what the commissioner's looking at. 4 downs, narrow field, 4 or 5 second play caught. Doug, take a breath, Doug. Eat a Snickers. You're clearly still upset. The commissioner told you he's never thought about it. They have no interest in it. It's not happening. You can be mad, but then don't hyperbolize and make up things. It's not happening, Doug. It's not happening. Right? The CFL is 3 downs. Wider field, yard off the ball, no fair catch, the waggle. Go down the list of differences. It's a different league. All it's going to be played on now is the same length of field, although it's not technically the same length because the end zones are 5 yards. So the whole field from end of end zone, which is technically the playing field now because that's where the uprights are, right? The whole is still bigger. So it's not the same. Quick break. We'll come back. Jason Strudwick will join us. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports 1440.ca. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Find incredible savings on everything you need for your home at The Brick. Save up to $800 on sofas and up to $1,000 off select major appliances when you buy 2 or more. Whether you're furnishing a new space or refreshing your current one, The Brick has designs to fit any style and budget, all backed by their exceptional service. Visit one of their 4 locations in Edmonton, downtown, South Common, West Edmonton Mall, or 137th on the north side. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Imagine a busy classroom. Now imagine it if no one was willing to teach. Here's the reality. It's getting harder to keep teachers in the profession and to attract new people to an increasingly challenging job. Pay for teachers has fallen far behind inflation and cost of living. With fair wages, we can keep the ones we have and hire more. But we need the provincial government to step up. Because a fair deal for teachers is a good deal for kids. A message from the Alberta Teachers Association.
It's time to rev up your engines at the Finning Sales Event today. Take advantage of event exclusives and score big with 0% financing. Demo the latest Cat heavy-duty equipment as they celebrate 100 years. Plus, you can pick up your perk with every equipment purchase, $2,000 in additional discounts or free select attachments. Big machines, big savings, big fun. That's today. Edmonton Finning, 10910 170th Street Northwest.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast.
Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and you'd think that as a used RV expert, I'd be a real do-it-yourself guy. Oh, I know all the dirty and grungy stuff that has to be done to keep your quality used RV healthy, and I actually don't like doing it. That's why I hired a whole service team at No Bull. I get to talk about it on TikTok, and they get their hands dirty.
Gotta be some perks to being the boss, Rick.
That's right, Bob. It's only fair that I share it with everyone, which is why we created our Camp Ready Club. Here's how it works. For one low monthly cost of just $30, we'll do your spring opening, fall closing, and all your regular scheduled maintenance on your used RV.
Plus, club members get priority discounts and perks as well.
You know it, Bob. Camp Ready means you've got everything you need. But if you require service or repair during the peak summer season, Camp Ready members go to the front of the line to get you back to the great outdoors faster.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca. Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Harley Davidson of Edmonton. On the Yellowhead Trail, locally owned and operated by the Kent family and celebrating 45 years. See all their great bikes at hdedmonton.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.422 as we roll through Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, as well as our YouTube, Facebook, X channels. Thanks so much for listening, watching, texting the show. Man, we've had lots of texts coming in today. I love it. Lots on the potential, just an idea about playoffs. Sometimes you just got to have some ideas, spitball it around. Some of you like it, some of you not too sure about it, and that's okay. It's first time. Now you can go home and think about it. See if right now, I just want to preface, this is not something that I think the CFL has any. I have no idea if there's something they're even considering, but we're just coming up with ideas that if the commissioner says they're looking at lots of things, then if you're looking to generate more revenue, adding more playoff games would be a way to do it. So just for thought. And all I know, the potential, and I took curling because, pretty big Canadian sport, their page system, something different. We don't see in a lot of other pro sports, although the NBA does have it, right? Between 7, 8, 9, and 10. The winner of 7, 8 goes in automatically to the playoffs. The loser gets a chance to make the playoffs by beating 9 or 10. So they do have it in a not at the top, but a different way. So maybe it's coming to the CFL. We shall see. We shall see. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Brought to you by the Spruce Grove Saints. They are back in action on Friday night when they take on, is it Friday? Yeah, today's 23rd, Friday night, when they host Salmon Arm down at the Thompson Family Arena. That a sellout crowd. It was a great game. Unfortunately, they lost 4-3 to Brooks this past Friday, but looking for some great BCHL action, get your tickets at sgsaints.ca as we welcome in Jason Strudwick to the show. Probably a big fan of the backward pants of Chris Cross back in the 90s. Struddy, how you doing?
Yeah, huge fan. I like that song. I mean, who doesn't remember that song? It was a real banger, as the kids would say.
Yeah, it was a banger. I just thought for sure, Struddy, anything for you to wear pants, whether they're jeans or not, I thought you'd be all over it.
But it took me a while to embrace the jean culture. I don't think I wore jeans till like grade 11 or 12.
Yeah.
That might surprise some of the people who've seen me about looking so good in jeans, but I was patient. It was a slow release, Greg's.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, you know what, Struddy? Like jeans as a kid, it's just they're not like, I know even our jeans now, they're a little stretchy, they're more comfortable, but yeah, like my son has never worn a pair of jeans. Like he just refuses to. And my wife, and I'm like, honey, let it go. Trust me. When he turns 16, all of a sudden or 17, he'll be like, oh, jeans, not bad. And then he'll wear them. It's how it goes. Like, so I was looking back, I'm like, remember, I don't know, Struddy, we used to have the sweatpants. Remember you used to get hockey sweatpants and they were like black. And then the side down the leg was all yellow, or if it was blue and blue, those were the money sweatpants, man. They should bring those back because those would be killer.
Well, you could also in that bar write your team, like Mud West or whatever. And I was so proud of. I wore those till they literally blew off me when I got a pair. Right, like I was way too old to be wearing it, but they look so cool. They got to be coming back. Everything's coming back, so why not?
Yeah, I just thought it might be something to consider. So we'll see. Your thoughts on Podkolzin's contract?
You know, I don't think anyone should be really surprised by this one. I think this is one that was coming. And I think I like it for both sides. Vasily, what do you have, 8 goals last year? I want to believe he can get, is it reasonable to ask for a 50% improvement? Can he get to 12, 13 goals? I'd be blown away if he wasn't working on his offense all summer. I know if I was in that position, I would have. And to kind of finish some chances to get a little bit more offense. He's a banger. We know he likes to hit. Pretty good defensively. So if he can get up to that number, that's, for $3 million, especially I think he ate up one of his free agency years. You now have him locked in for the next 4 seasons. And I think at a number you feel good about, but he's got to keep working that offense, really keep digging in, because he could get opportunities. If he can cash in some of those, it's huge for him, but massive for the team.
Chris Knobloch today, I thought in really outline his reasoning and his thought process on why to start the season he's going to go with McDavid and Draisaitl together. Basically said, hey, Zach Hyman's not here. We're pretty thin in top 6 wingers. We need a good start. Now I know I have one line I love, and then hopefully the other lines I like. He talked about more ice time for other guys because now McDavid and Draisaitl will be together in their 22 minutes rather than be apart for 15 of those minutes. So what do you make of his reasoning? What do you make of his decision to, and do you like the fact that he just announced it today?
I'm surprised he announced it today. It's like we're a long ways away from training camp being over. Well, relatively speaking, the season starting. There's no need to kind of preach it today, but I guess he's he usually answers the questions that you guys ask him. He's pretty honest. So off he goes and delivers it. I think that Hyman not being there does make a difference. I don't necessarily love it for the following reason. If you are going to introduce new players into your top 6, it'd be nice if they got an opportunity with those guys so you can see what they're like and see how they can play. Now, Trent Frederick playing some, why not? He's a big body. He'll get to the net, and maybe they're trying to get him going right away at the beginning of this contract, and then they'll flow him to a different spot, or maybe stays up there. So I get that. But, Greg, I wanted to see an opportunity for some of these guys to see what they can do. And asking a rookie to play on the top line, I know is hard, but they've got to start moving it down towards that way because they need some youth. They need some youth on this team, or should I say just new players on this team that can play in the top 6.
Yeah, you look at Frederick, and if you like, could he be Zach Kassian of 2019 Struds, where at 5-on-5 now, and the thing is, they don't need him to be all year. Like, they really only probably need him to be a placeholder until Hyman returns, right? And then I can see how you'd separate him. But when you look at Frederick's style of play and you consider Hyman, Kassian, Maroon, probably the guys who have the most success with McDavid are them. Bigger bodies, kind of straight up and down game, good on the wall. What do you make of Frederick's opportunity here to play in the top 6, and what do you think he can do?
Well, I mean, in some ways the pressure's off him because he has his contract. There's no pressure on him to, oh man, if I don't score 5 goals in the first month, I won't get the contract he wants. He's got it. He's got his deal. So how best to use him, how best to get him involved in this right away. And you look at how it kind of went for him last year after they traded for him with the injury. If anyone had a high ankle sprain, I had it twice, and I can tell you it's brutal, absolutely brutal. And I couldn't imagine playing the finals on it, especially the way he's so physical. So maybe they're just trying to get him going. So here's an opportunity to kind of kickstart him and get him going offensively and feel good about his game. And now it sounds like Nuge is going to be more of a center.
Yep.
I have a hard time. I've been telling everyone I think he's going to be Frederick's going to be a third line center. Well, if Nuge is center, if Nuge isn't your fourth line center, so when everyone is back, I'm guessing it's Connor, Leon, Nuge, right? So Frederick has got to be he's going to be a winger under this scenario, and maybe he's a right winger depending on how Tomasek plays, and when Zach Hyman comes back. So I think maybe he's looking long term with him being the big man, Frederick.
Well, I would agree, and I do know that they would like a right shot center at times, and so maybe it's Tomasek, maybe it's Frederick, we'll see. And who knows if Draisaitl, here's the other thing, Struts. Let's say they have success out of the gate. Maybe they just say, you know what, we'll just move Hyman into our second line and leave it as is. And we think Hyman makes our second line stronger. Because the one thing that I came away with today more than ever, and I talked about it in the summer, and I thought, hey, this is what I would do at the trade deadline. And I am infinite. If I could go Freddie Flintstone, bet right now, I'm putting all my chips in on the Oilers adding a scoring winger at the deadline as priority number one. I think they're clearly showing that they got that's an area they want to improve.
Well, let's look at it. The decor it's solid. Unless there's something major happens as far as injury, those top five guys are solid. Then you have a mixed bag behind them. So maybe you trade for another depth guy. Maybe if that's what you feel. So that's minor. Stu Skinner. Contract year. Not that he hasn't been trying. I do think that the change in his weight might help the quickness. So maybe he gets back to being what we expect him to be and what he wants to be. So that leaves one option, Greg. That leaves a top scoring winger. Then you got to find him, fit him in. But that's their job to figure that out. So I like where you're at. I think I think you're right on it. But I wonder this. So let's say that they leave the top two guys together and then Frederick stays there. Then who is it? Is it Mangiapane, Nuge, and Hyman as your second line?
That's a good question. So before Hyman comes back, I think Nuge might I think Tomasek's going to play on the third line with Savoy. Right? That's we saw him together the first day. It's just a hunch. So it comes down to, you have Nugent Hopkins, Mangiapane, and Podkolzin, or Nugent Hopkins, Mangiapane, and Henrique. I guess the wild card is capping it.
Yeah. So, there's a lot. So, I mean, if they go with the top two big, let's just assume everyone's healthy, top two guys, and it's got, you got Mangiapane, you got Podkolzin there, you got Henrique that can play beside Nuge, although I think they're very similar players. So if Tomasek's your third line center, does that push Savoy, and then I guess would it be Henrique on the third line? Would he be the third line guy? Then I'm not sure where Kapanen's pushed down, Janmark's pushed down, Coward might be pushed to the minors. They have lots of options, and so I think trying to figure out where they all fit that's the challenge for this coaching staff, to figure it out quickly. Because I want Podkolzin in the top 9, I want Henrique in the top 9, Savoy in the top 9. So I'm going to be really interested to see how he rolls out that sec. Because if that's the conversation, if he's starting those two guys together, the conversation for me starts in line 2 and who the wingers are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so I look at, if, this is all hypothetical, but let's say the Frederick McDavid Draisaitl combo is playing very well. Zach Hyman comes back in November. I'm not going to break it up instantly. The guy hasn't played a game, so I would start him on my second line and kind of see where it goes, and gives you different options. The Oilers are good enough to make the playoffs. I don't think there's any debate on that. So you can find different things, but regardless of what happens and whether it's Draisaitl in the first and second line, I still think he's better as a center, my own opinion. But hey, at times they play together and they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago. Him and McDavid in the playoffs. He played about 21% of their time 5-on-5. So I get, after penalties and stuff like that, sure, but not a huge amount really in the grand scheme of it. When you think about it, it's about an average of 3 minutes a game on average, and I think there was a few games where they played exclusively together. So I just think Edmonton lacks another legit, proven, guaranteed top 6 winger, and that should be priority number 1 for the GM.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So if they get that, if they get that guy, maybe that at some point that maybe splits Leon and Connor up, right? Because Simon is with Connor, and then Leon is with this new guy, and then you have the mixed bag: Podkolzin, Manjapani, Nugent Hopkins, depending Trent Frederick, depending on you figure out after that. So I think that not treading water to get there, but you're auditioning different guys, and guys are rotating it out based on how they're playing, and then when that guy comes, and maybe boom, you split him back up. Because I like him apart. I just think it's a defensive matchup. As a defender, I'd rather have my top pairing play against those two guys together, and then know my other 4 don't have to play against them as much, right? I know that people play each other, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather not a shift off, but just take a deep breath sometimes when both those guys aren't on the ice.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jason Strudwick joins us. Struddy, it's hard in a preseason game. Like there's no one really to me that stood out in this one. Clattenburg was the first star. I had some buddies in Calgary say that, they thought he really stood out against some Calgary veteran players, and that's outstanding and such. But I look at the orders, and you got Matt Savoy, and the coach said he's probably going to start him in the third line rather than start him up high and then go down, because inevitably you're probably going to lose your confidence as a young player at some point. So this way, or just, you struggle, whatever, but you start in the third line, you get some penalty kill time, maybe some power play time, and away you go. And then you just keep building your confidence. That seems like a smarter move. I was very hesitant to think that Ike Howard was going to play here. And from what I've seen in the rookie camp and the few shifts I saw in Calgary, there's nothing that's changed my mind that believes he's more of an AHL player right now than he is an NHL player. And that's not a bad thing, because he's yet to play pro hockey.
It's a big jump. I mean, going from college to NHL is a massive jump. And it's not that he's not smart enough. It's just that the guys he's playing against are smaller, slower, and not as smart hockey-wise, right? So, I kind of think he'll end up starting the minors, and that's all right. It's all right. That's an all right thing. And maybe during the course of the year where your group's maybe lacking some energy or you have injuries, you can bring him up based on, if he's trending the right direction, and let him get his beak wet like you did with Matt Savoy. But they've got to develop this guy properly. It is job number 1. Him, Savoy have got to be 2 really well-developed players, because they need it. They need these young legs coming in. Look behind them. There's not a ton of high-end talent that's sitting, outside of this NHL roster. So they need these 2. They've put a lot of, they traded assets for these guys, and they need them to develop properly.
Yeah, no, 100%. They have to. One guy, Struddy, and he was an interesting player to me, because he didn't sign a contract with Buffalo, and Edmonton signed him pretty quickly. I know it was only 1 game, but Marhala's skill was something that stood out to me. Like, he's not NHL ready yet, but he's a player now that I'll be like, I'm going to be watching him to see, because for 1 game, it stood out to me just his confidence to hold on the puck and make plays. And the Oilers don't have a lot of like young prospects with an offensive acumen.
Well, that kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. This Stan Bowman, when he took this job, he could see what was going on. The organization is very top heavy as far as where all their assets are. They're all in the NHL. Look at some teams that have rebuilt. Most of their assets are either just sitting in draft picks or players that have been drafted, and they're not even in their NHL roster. The Oilers are the opposite. So Stan is searching high and low for players that are either young, coming out of college or Europe, or guys like Thomasek that maybe he thinks he can come and play here. This lineup, add something to this lineup that he doesn't have. So that's another example of a player you're talking about. And so, even the young Finnish team, what is it, Leppänen, or I always struggle with the Finnish names, but the young D-man who played down in Calgary in the exhibition game, smart little player, gets around the ice well, great offense. Where does he fit in, though, I guess, on this roster? I don't know, but you're just adding talent that isn't necessarily going to be in the NHL this year, and maybe they can find a way to move them up if players leave or come, or they want more zip in their transition game. So I think that Stan is that's what's keeping him up at night. How do I find youngish players that I can get for nothing that can come in and become NHL players?
Struddy, give me your thoughts on the CFL rule changes?
You know, I'm very proudly Canadian, and I like that the things that are different about CFL are different than NFL. Like, I'd go down and play in the States, and I'd be harassed by all the guys, the Americans, about how bad it was, the different rules. I'm like, yeah, that's what makes it Canadian. You know, we have it right. Maybe you guys have the rules wrong. But whether who's right or wrong, I like that, you know, Stuart is looking at new ways to, or not new ways, at ways to improve the game, the speed, the scoring, all that stuff. And they're not huge change. Like the Rouge, I don't think most Canadians would even know what the hell the rule is. You know, like what exactly is it? But at the end of the day, at least, you know, he's not changing the CFL game. He's doing what he thinks is improving it to make it a better viewing experience. And this guy, you know, coming from, you know, sports TV like he did with TSN, I think he understands what sells. And I think that's what his angle is. I know like some of the players weren't happy. Rourke was upset with it, you know, and I kind of get it. I like that he defends, but he defends his game, right? I kind of like that, I guess, you know.
But did you hear Rourke? He's rambling, he's ranting. You know what I like telling my friends? We have a wider field. We have 12 men on the field. We have the waggle.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, the same rules that you have today. Right. Like it was him complaining. It was like, honestly, it was like, I thought it was Abe Simpson, old man yelling at a cloud, because what he was complaining about didn't make any sense.
But I mean, it's nice to hear one of your stars sticking up for the league. You know, like I think that's what he's and maybe he was misguided, but I you know what, they got to get people, you know, A, watching the game live, and then B, they got to get them in the TV, watching it on the TV. So I think that, you know, he knows what sells on TV and what people want to see, or he believes he does because of his experience in his previous job. So let's see how it goes. I mean, they're not massive changes, but if it gets a little bit more scoring going, let's see it. That's what makes the I remember when I grew up, and you would know better than I, it felt like there were high scoring games, just back and forth. And I loved that. It was like you go to a game and there was like 4 or 5 touchdowns all the time or more.
Yeah. Well, I think they need more offense for sure. The TV numbers actually started continue to grow. So that part's good, but you obviously want to get more fans in the stands. And I think you had to make some changes. I like the changes. Obviously, it's going to be a few years in the making to see, how they are. But, next year will be step one. Then when you get to the, you change. I don't really think changing the length of the field is going to impact people as much as those 10 yards. Like, other than not seeing the 55-yard line, I don't know if it's really going to be an impact.
Right.
More on strategy on kicking field goals and when you gamble on third down. And if you're going to try to pooch punt, that to me is going to be more of it. And I'll say this, coaches are going to have to change for me and always lacking in any sort of gonads to go for it on 3rd and 3. You're going to have to be more creative. And I think that's a good thing for the league, because if you don't want to gamble and try to pooch punt, and then because you don't get a point, and then your pooch punt goes out of the end zone, guess what? Now the team scrimmages at the 35 and you gained absolutely nothing anyway. So you're better off basically from the 45 to the 35 in the offensive zone. You're better off gambling when it's 3rd and probably 5 or less.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, just those ideas of being innovative and trying different things and going for it. Like, I think you just got to keep trying to surprise the viewers a little bit, right? And then make it exciting. Like last night you watched that Lions game. I mean, Campbell's got a pretty big set of pretzels on him to go for it. And I like seeing that, right? Like that's exciting, whether you make it or not, even if you don't even cheer for one of the teams, it's fun to watch.
Strutty, quickly, what's your thoughts on Mr. Dart getting his first start?
I knew you were going to ask this. I feel it's premature. I would have gone to now Russell. I don't know that Russell has had a really good year in the last number of years, and I didn't think he'd be a starter all year. But I would go to Jameis Winston. I would give Jameis a couple starts, not because I think Jameis is, going to be the MVP of the league, but I want Dart to have more time to kind of just get up to NFL speed, right? Whether it's through practice or learning the playbooks and all that stuff. But I'll say this about him. He seems like a gamer. That kid's a gamer. And I've heard people talk about him as a poor man's Josh Allen, the way he competes and plays. So that's a pretty nice comparison. So I don't know. Luckily we're playing the doormat Chargers this weekend.
Oh, Geez, that one might be tough. What are you and Connor's going to make a bet on that game? Like, he's got to give you some points.
He's trying. He's trying. Well, I asked for 40 points.
40.
No, I'm just kidding.
Come on.
I just
Russell,
can't.
like,
We know we can't.
did you see Russell Wilson's throws like in the red zone? I was unbelievable on that one. Like, just throwing it out of the end zone. And the other time, he didn't even look up. He just charged forward and got like 2 yards. I was like, is this guy a rookie? What is going on here?
No, I just don't think he has. It's like a lot of great athletes. After a while, you just don't have it anymore. He's not a very big guy to start with, and so, like I said, I don't know. Connor know better than I, but I think it's been 3-4 years since he's been the quarterback, and he had some moments like last week he threw the ball around, but he was never a long-term solution. I hope Dart is, but I wish they would have started like week 6 or 7 for the Dart, not against the Chargers, who seem to have a pretty good thing going.
Yeah. Strutty, we will chat with you next Tuesday when we probably should be down to the final. I don't think there's going to be any surprises to the Oilers roster. It's more so just, who are going to be the last 2 forward cuts. I probably think it's going to be Jones. With Zach Hyman not here, they can carry 13 forwards. So, you know what? There are 13 other guys make it. I mean, so there's, if Howard goes down and Jones goes down, that's it. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Good times. All right, boys. Enjoy the game this weekend. Go Chargers.
A Giants fan, go Chargers. That's a tough one, Strutty. He's cheering for the first overall pick for Jason Gregor. We'll come back. We got 5 questions more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton Elks Indigenous Celebration is back, presented by No Frills. September 27th versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders, featuring Indigenous dance and drum halftime performances, pre-game makers market, and the unveiling of our brand new Indigenous gear. Tickets at goelks.com.
Yeah, can I get yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie, now at McDonald's.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
A huge thank you for making Sports 1440 the most listened to sports radio station in Edmonton. From Gregor to Carius to Low Tide, we've got in-depth analysis on all your favorite sports. We are Sports 1440.
At Fountain Tire, you can save $50 off tire storage with the purchase of 4 select tires now until September 30th at participating locations.
Okay.
Or you could squeeze them into your backseat, possibly causing upholstery damage, drive them home, struggle, sweating buckets trying to get them out of your vehicle, resulting in you feeling guilty for not going to the gym more often, or at all. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Totally up to you.
Definitely $50 off the tire storage.
You got it. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
September, back to class and back to carting the kids around. Good news. Until the end of the month at Wolf GMC Buick, get GMC employee pricing on all remaining 2025 GMC Sierras, so you'll have loads of room. Plus, get 0% financing on Sierra light-duty crew cabs. If you're eyeing up an SUV, we have the completely redesigned GMC Terrain and our entire Buick family with incredible prices. And Costco members up to $1,200 additional off the price. Come see us, corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road.
Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
4:49. Some news. Look who's coming back, and he's going to play tonight, Connor Halley. Santander for the Jays. And they DFA, designated for assignment, Alex Manoah from the team's 40-man roster. So now, if the player clears waivers without being claimed, then they Jays can either release them or just outright assign them to the minor leagues. So I guess we'll have to see. But there it goes. So Santander, ooh, mama, what could he do? Man, he's been killing it down in the. I know it's AAA, but he was hitting a lot of bombs down there. He's been down there for a while too. So it wasn't like they sent him down for 5 days. He's down there for quite a few weeks, getting his game back in gear. So that could be another big addition offensively for the Jays. We'll see what happens. So he'll be in the lineup tonight. Let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where their 4-day sale is going on right now. Actually, it's only got a few days left as it goes today until the for 4 days. 60% off sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, and up to 50% off on mattresses at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, question number 1 for you. Once the regular season gets going, how many games consecutive do you think we see McDavid and Draisaitl start games on the same line?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say 7. For no reason. I don't know. I mean, I just think it starts off good. Things are working out. And then maybe they try to ease back a little bit. I'm going to say 7 games.
I think it's good. I think they're going to get off to a good start, those two individually. And, I think that's probably going to help the team start. So I'm going to say the month of October.
All right. Question number 2. With that, what would the second line look like to you to start the season, if it's your call?
That's a good question. I'm going to say Mangiapane, Nugent Hopkins, Podkolzin.
Agree. That's what I was going to have as well. I'm not going to argue. I think that would just be a line that, can handle the minutes, would be able to do it. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. Question number 3. Right now, looking at the NFL, who would be your top 3 teams in the power rankings?
Well, in any order?
Sure.
Well, it's hard. I got to go with the Eagles until somebody beats the Eagles. They've got to be number 1. I guess I would go for now with the Chargers, because they've beaten every team in their division, which is pretty impressive. And then I'll go with the Bills.
Yes. I don't mean to agree with you consecutively. Those would be my picks. Honorable mention to the Lions, I think, will be good. And, you got to give some respect to the Niners with the injuries they've dealt with. And now Nick Bosa going to be done for the year. Want to see what they can do when they get healthy. But the Niners deserve some respect as well for the start that they've had to this season.
I will say I was very close to putting Detroit, because Detroit looks like, did you see that Ravens game last night? That was a great football game, man. And the Lions, they look good again.
For giving up 30 points, I give that defense credit. Like, it seemed like they had times at Lamar Jackson just looking lost out there. Nothing open downfield. He had nowhere to run. Like, they did a good job.
Like, the Ravens are the best 1 and 2 team in the NFL by a by a landslide. So they might be the greatest 1 and 2 team in NFL history.
You lose to the Bills and the Lions. No shame in that. Question number 4 for you. Major League Baseball implementing the automated ball and strike challenge system starting in 2026. Each team gets 2 challenges. Of course, only the pitcher, catcher, and batter can make the call. You get the old tap on the head. Do you like this rule?
Oh, man. I'm torn. If you have one where you challenge it and the ball comes down and it's literally on the screen and it's just outside the edge, how do you expect a human being to get that in real time? Honestly. And is it really that impactful now? Like we're talking, the guy took a pitch based on a millimeter. So I don't know. Like, I think for the obvious ones, sure. When you got a guy who just makes a blatantly terrible call, okay, great. I just hope we don't see guys doing it on ones that they think are really close.
It's going to be crazy because, like, I'm sure there's going to be situations
but a team
where
you only get 2. I guess technically you get 3 if you keep going. But right, if you keep getting it right, then you don't lose it.
Then you retain them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's something, in a situation, bottom of the 9th, close play, batters just watching, like, okay, obviously you're going to challenge that. And then I wonder, Gregor, like if it happens mid-game, it's close. Are we seeing pitchers kind of like a quick play call in the NFL to avoid the challenge? Get the ball back to the pitcher. Let's throw this quickly so he doesn't have a chance to really think about this one or maybe look at the side because you have to do it quick. So I kind of am intrigued by it, and I'm just waiting for that first one that just is a terrible, terrible challenge. Final question for you. On this day in 1984, The Shawshank Redemption came out, one of Low Tide's favorite movies. In honor of that, what would you say is your favorite Morgan Freeman movie?
Probably have to go with Shawshank, I think, right off the top of my head. It's hard to beat that one. But yeah, I guess I'll go with Shawshank.
I'm going to open it up because he has so many. What are your top 3 if Shawshank's number 1?
7. Right?
Yeah. Great movie.
Oh, great movie. And what would be number 3? God. Been in quite a few, but I got to go back. Like there hasn't been one that I've loved lately as much. He was like, are you talking he's got to be the main guy? Because he was a supporting guy, right? In $1 Million Baby. He wasn't the main guy, but I like the movie. I'll go Invictus, I think, because it's a true story.
For me, Dark Knight, always one of my favorite movies.
All right.
I mean, if I'm going away from Shawshank, I'm still gonna go 7 because I love that movie. And
great.
then maybe Along Came a Spider or Kiss the Girls. That's with Angelina Jolie too, I think. No, sorry, Ashley Judd.
Yeah,
that was a good one as well.
Yeah,
thick voice. Yeah.
Well, his voice is obviously very good. He's got a lot of movies, man. Because wasn't he the voice? What was the comedy one about God with Jim Carrey? Wasn't he the voice in that? Wasn't he God?
Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, right. He was God, wasn't he?
Yeah,
like the voice of God. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you ever seen Lean on Me when he was the principal?
No, I haven't seen that.
No, it's a good movie too. Back in like late 80s or 90s, and then the war movie, him and Denzel.
Ooh,
Glory.
Yeah.
Great movie. And he was in Costner's Robin Hood too. It's another classic. So God, he's been in a lot.
Ted 2. I think he was like the lawyer or something at the end.
I don't remember what? He was in Ted 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't remember that. All right. Take your word for it. So
not a huge role, but came in. Yeah, I think tried to help him out, save the day.
Yeah. Well, hey, why not? So yeah, he's had an unreal career, man. A great voice. Unbelievable voice. So
it's one of those movies just on Shawshank. Like everyone gets theirs, the warden at the end, and just a great movie.
Yeah. Oh no, it was like just him being the narrator, and he's talking about Andy Dufresne, and and when he talks about how he's, I don't want to ruin the movie if you haven't seen it by now, but you should if you haven't seen it.
So old.
Just
40 years old.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe someone's just reached the age now that they can watch it. And their dad's like, I can't wait. Like there's certain movies that I just can't wait to watch with my son because I'm hoping he'll love it. I think that's a movie that ages very well.
I would say so, yeah.
Like anybody out there, has any of your son or daughters 16 to 20 watched Shawshank? And did they like it? I have to think they did, but maybe I'm wrong. I think it ages pretty well. But I haven't introduced it to a young person just yet. So, God, I really hope it ages well. Please tell me it does. Please. Coming up in the final hour, Spec will be by. We'll get you some lineups for the Oilers and the Jets tonight. We'll also go to Winnipeg at the Jets side of things. For an organization that's, hey, like the Oilers, it's funny. Like the Oilers have made it to 2 Stanley Cup finals. They've come up short. What about a team like Winnipeg? Like they've had 2 crushing back-to-back losses here in different rounds in the playoffs by just giving up way too much and being like the worst road team of all time in the playoffs. Awful. So can that change? We'll talk to Jim about that a little bit later on. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Buy a new vehicle and help feed families. In September, for every truck sold, Northgate will feed a family of 4. See other vehicles, northgategm.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Vasily Podkolzin to a 3-year contract extension with a 2.95 AAV. The 24-year-old had 8 goals, 16 helpers last season, adding 10 points in 22 playoff games. Oilers in action tonight, just over an hour. They're in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. Jonathan Toews making his Winnipeg debut. Some changes in Major League Baseball as teams will be able to challenge 2 calls per game to get additional appeals in extra innings. Challenges must be made by the pitcher, catcher, or batter by tapping their helmet or cap. The team would retain challenges if successful. On the field today, right now, Pirates up on the Reds 2-0 in the top of the second. Phillies lead the Marlins 1-0 in the first. Got the Jays and Red Sox meeting in about 7 minutes, and the Dodgers taking on the Diamondbacks. Padres host the Brewers. Rockies in Seattle. 2 games in the WNBA tonight playoffs. 5:30, the Lynx trying to take a 2-0 series lead over the Mercury. Then at 7:30, got the Fevers in the Sin City taking on the Aces. Fever lead that series 1-0. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, and we'll talk some Winnipeg Jets with Jim Toad. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Find incredible savings on everything you need for your home at The Brick. Save up to $800 on sofas and up to $1,000 off select major appliances when you buy 2 or more. Whether you're furnishing a new space or refreshing your current one, The Brick has designs to fit any style and budget, all backed by their exceptional service. Visit one of their 4 locations in Edmonton, downtown, South
Now, those are
Common,
the fellas,
West
they
Edmonton
have
Mall,
like
or
that. They
137th on the north
Oh,
side.
man.
See in-store for details and exclusions.
Oh.
The Brick, saving you more.
Experience a season of superior luxury, performance, and savings. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Come drive one today. You won't be disappointed. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 1.99%. And right now, you can save $7,500 on remaining 2025 XC60s. The Fall Experience event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Visit volvocarsedmonton.com.
When you have lifting and material handling needs, Northwest Crane delivers. Western Canada's Sani dealer, backed by the industry's toughest one. 3 years, 3,000 hours, no compromises. They service all crane makes and models with skilled technicians and deep industry expertise. Alberta owned with locations in Leduc and Grand Prairie and fully equipped service trucks. Northwest Crane keeps your operation lifting. For more information on sales or service, visit northwestcrane.com or call today.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, well as Sports 1440 YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, well as on Oilers Nation. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Always hit the subscribe button for us. We really appreciate that. Numbers keep climbing. Keep it up. It's great. We love it. Thank you very much. It literally takes 2 seconds of your day. And it's awesome. And trust, because we got new things coming during the season that you'll see on there. Trust me, I think especially if you're a hockey fan, you'll want to go there. Football fan as well. So we'll have some cool things coming up here in the next few weeks. 833-401-1440. You can text us. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's Tuesday. Maybe it's your night. Lotto Max, $31 million. Good luck. Get your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome to the program, Mark Spector from Rogers Sports at the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists. If you are have running water, you're driving the freeway, simple thing like that, you can thank GS because they get it done. GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sports Net joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well. You?
Mm-hmm. A little crippled after roofing for a couple days, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good.
I like it. There was lots of news today in Oilerville. First of all, Vasily Podkolzin, a 3-year deal, 2.95. This one, it's rare you get a contract extension, but everybody seems pretty happy about that. I haven't had one person complain about it. Most people look at this one and say, hey, here's a player that at worst will give you fair value and at best will be a good contract.
Yeah, he, let's call him, what is he? Is he a 25-point player, Jay, you think?
Well, I would hope he's at least a 25-point player.
Well, what did he have last season?
Well, the last season's irrelevant to me. I think, I look at Podkolzin first year in the organization, like he had 10 points in 22 playoff games, Spec. He better be 25
nice playoff.
Yeah.
So listen, at 2.9, if he gets anything over 30 points, he's good value because he brings a lot of other things to the game.
Yes.
I tend to defer to a player like Leon Draisaitl. Like Leon Draisaitl really likes this guy. And he wants to play with him, and he thinks he's a hell of a player. If he says that, I'm not going to walk in the door and disagree with a guy like Leon Draisaitl. He knows. I always tell you this. The players, they know.
Yeah.
So, this is to me, there's very little downside here. He's young, he's fast, he's healthy, he's big. We know what he can do. And he's still at the point in his career where we're hoping he can bring more. Like, we're still looking at him and saying, he might break out. He might get 45 points or something. Like, I don't know how long we'll say that, Jay. Like, after a while, potential just means you haven't done anything yet. But I think he's still a guy that, we're looking at him play. You think, how can that guy not get more points than he does?
Yeah, no, that's fair. When he talked about it today, he wants to be better offensively, no question. And shoot the puck a little bit more. I love what he said. He goes, hey, man, if I get 200 shots, 10%, I'm scoring 20 goals.
Yeah.
Very simple, very direct, pretty quick. Hey, if it's that easy, all right. But so, that's obviously a number that he's going to be looking at. And, his relentless work ethic, he's physical, he's reliable defensively. He does lots of things. Is he a permanent second line winger? He's going to have to produce more to be that. But, it was really to me, it's his second full season in the NHL. So that's why, there's lots of room to grow for Podkolzin. He's far from an old player, right? He's what? He's 24 years of age, just turned 24 years of age. So he's just starting to kind of figure it out. He's only played I think 220 NHL games. So he's got a lot of runway here to improve.
Yeah. And I always talk about getting a player at the right point, like the team and the player coincide at the right point in their career. I always go back to a guy like Zach Kassian. He burned through a bunch of organizations, and when Edmonton got him, he straightened out his life. He really wanted to play, and he gave Edmonton a couple of unbelievably good years. Yeah, they signed him, and the contract wasn't great. I get all that. I know that. But the point is, the Oilers got Kassian when Vancouver had him, and he wasn't any good to him. When Buffalo drafted him, he wasn't any good to him. Montreal, forget it. Edmonton got Kassian at the right moment. So Podkolzin goes through Vancouver where he's got all the pressure of being a first-round pick. And every move he makes, the fan base and the team looks at him like, well, he better be good. We drafted this guy in the first round. Well, he comes to Edmonton. I believe Stan Bowman got him for a fourth-round pick, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So he comes to Edmonton. There's no expectation. He's way more free here. All that first-rounder stuff is out the window. It's still back on the coast. And Edmonton gets the player at the perfect time. He's got a second organization. He's not gonna be a first. I very much doubt he'll ever be the first line sniping player Vancouver thought they were drafting. That's fine. If he's a middle six winger for the Oilers, you need those guys too. He's young. He's not that expensive. He's got a lot of character. I think Edmonton's got a good player for a long time here.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Also today, the head coach said, hey, he outlined his plan to start the regular season. Draisaitl, McDavid together. Frederick's going to get a look. He basically admitted, hey, without Zach Hyman, we're a little bit shy of top six wingers. I think everybody knows that. It's more abundantly clear than ever that that's something they'll be looking for, I think, between now and the trade deadline. Connor McDavid, from the first time he spoke, even at captain skates, we need a better start. Right? We need a better start. So I think the coach is looking to say, hey, for 15 games, what gives me the best chance? I'm going to go with McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe it did come from the players even. Maybe this is the way they're thinking they can get out of the gates better. Listen, I'm on the record. I can't change my stripes now. I don't love a team with McDavid and Draisaitl playing together for 60 minutes. I don't. We've watched this for years. If the coach, I heard Knobloch today, and he talked about how, when they are on separate lines, there's not enough ice time for everybody else. And now if he plays them together, there will be, I don't know, man. We watched this in the past, Jay. When they play together, they get all power play time. They get extra shifts. If you fall behind in the game, they get double shifted. And everybody else sits around and waiting for 29 and 97 to get the job done. So how is it going to be different, Jason, this time than all the times before?
What do you mean different in what sense? That
different in that it's not another version of everyone sitting around waiting for McDavid and Draisaitl's turn to go out and win the game for them, and half the team barely gets to play.
Well, but the team actually plays more when they're on one line.
Really?
Well, think about it. If McDavid and Draisaitl are on the same, they're not playing 25 minutes. They're playing 21 or 22 together.
Depends if they're losing, right? If they're behind in the game, they're playing 25.
Only if it's 5 on. I'll go back and see how many games those guys played 5-on-5 that weren't overtime games. I don't think it's rarely 25 minutes, man.
Whatever. The point is, when they're down by a goal, the coach just keeps chucking them over the boards together every second shift. Listen, you don't rewrite history. We've watched this. Get Derek Ryan on your show and ask him what he thinks about a team that relies so heavily on two players. We've heard this before. All the rest of the teams like, oh, here we go again. McDavid and Draisaitl are getting all this ice time, and we're sitting on a bench cold as ice. So I'm just asking you, I don't know how it's going to be different this time than it was before when they moved away from it.
Yeah, I just think if you look at the numbers, actually, when they play together, and I'll crunch them, but I think it's physically impossible for them to have less minutes for the rest of the team when they're on the same line. Like maybe the last 5 minutes of the game, sure, it's going to go every second shift. But if they were on separate lines in the last 5 minutes of the game and they were down a goal, they'd go every second shift. Like, why wouldn't you? Right? Heck, they might play 3 minutes straight to end the game to try to score a goal. So I don't have I look at Edmonton, like I had people say, oh, see, they lose when they play together. And game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. You know who McDavid played the most minutes with? Hyman, 19. 12 and a half with Nugent Hopkins, 8 with Draisaitl. And they were trailing for basically the final half of the game. So it doesn't guarantee you success if they're separated or apart. It's just you go with a hunch as a coach. But I don't think that it's a negative to start the season with at least one line. Otherwise, you're saying, okay, who are going to play with McDavid? Well, if you want to say Nugent Hopkins because he's played with him, well, great. Well, Nugent Hopkins, you want to rewrite history. He never scores 5-on-5. He hasn't in 2 full years. That's a fact. He does not score playing with McDavid. No one can debate that. All the numbers are there. So let's say they're going to take Nugent. So now you're going to have, 2 new wingers that have never played with him other than 3 meaningless preseason games? So I get why the coach is going with at least he's like, hey, we got one line, and I'm going to challenge my other guys here, and they're all going to get some minutes because you're not going to play McDavid and Draisaitl 25 minutes a night in October.
Who's on your second line? Who's your second line center?
Nugent Hopkins will be with Podkolzin and Mangiapane would be my guess.
Okay.
All right. And then you'll have, I think, Tomasek with Savoy and either Henrique or maybe, I guess, Kapanen. Like, Kapanen, by all accounts, played pretty well. It's one preseason game. But we know he can do. He can skate. He can move. So, those are kind of your options, right? I think Janmark's a fourth-line player on your team. Curtis Lazar is probably a fourth-line player. You could, if you wanted to, I guess, maybe Henrique's your fourth-line center, and you have Kapanen and Podkolzin as your second and third-line left wingers to start, right?
Hey, listen.
When you don't have Hyman, there's going to be some question marks. There's no question about it.
I get it. Hyman's not there, and you got to react, and there's pressure to win early and all those things. I'm not changing my stripes. I've been covering this team as long as you have, and I've found over the career of those two, this is a better team when they play apart. It's a better dressing room. Everybody enjoys it more. In terms of players, the four forward lines, there's more ice time to go around. I don't care who's parsing up this new theory. I've watched it. I'm here to tell you, buddy, we've watched it, right? When those two play together, you say they might play a bunch the last 5 minutes. I'm telling you, if it's 4-2 after 2 periods, they play a ton the final 20, and half the team sits on the bench watching. So I don't love it. I'm not going to tell you I love it. I get why they're doing it, but I'm also here to tell you when Hyman comes back and they want to start to settle their team down and get ready for playoffs, I don't think those two will be playing on the same line every night.
Oh no, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. That's what this is to me. This is his. Now he can change after 4 games if he doesn't think it works, right? Like I don't know why. It seems some people think once you make a decision, you're not allowed to change your mind. No, you know what? Geez, I didn't like this player. Well, that means I have to hate him forever. No. Things evolve and change, and the coach will look, and if they get off to a good start, they'll probably keep them together. If they get off to a bad start, they'll try something else. Like, those are really the only 2 options, don't you think?
They got a bunch of guys that can do lots of things. And listen, we've watched the flip-flop for years. Like, it is. What do we call it? They call it the nuclear option, right? When the third period starts and you're down 3-2, they start with McDavid and Draisaitl on a line, and everyone goes, "Uh-oh, they're going to the nuclear option," and that's an awesome option. And I think we all would agree that when you start with those 2 guys together, you don't have a nuclear option because if things aren't going so good, now what? So, hey, listen, I'm not telling Knoblauch how to coach. He knows the pros and cons of both ways to go. I think you know the pros and cons. I know the pros and cons, and so do our listeners. We've all been around here for a while watching these guys play. I'm not going to complain about going to a rink and watching McDavid and Draisaitl trade pucks. So there's nothing wrong with that either.
No, I think the other thing, Spec, the last 2 seasons, Connor McDavid, by his standards, very slow start. The team obviously started slow as well. McDavid had 10 points, 2 goals in each of the first 10 games last year. Oh. Like, I know a point-a-game player, everybody else, cartwheels. McDavid, not where he wants to be. And I think McDavid gets off to a good start. Obviously, the team is better. And I think, McDavid gets off to a good start for those who are nervous, the contract renegotiation maybe goes easier when he's off to a good start. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. I think, hey, listen, there's a possibility, but I know this. McDavid said it to me. I don't like my season last year. He says, I didn't have a great season. Wasn't one of my better seasons. So he is fixated on scoring more goals and just being a more productive player. He's been kind of pushing to try to get to 100 points here. I think he fancies himself more of about 125 point player. And part of that is having a strong October, November, December. That's what's on his mind right now. He doesn't want to be coming into the end of April at 92 points like he did last year. That's not his style.
Yeah. Spec, enjoy the game tonight. Also, the final week of the Major League Baseball season.
Cool. How about Detroit?
Dude. Hey, the Detroit, I was talking about the stats earlier in the show today. They were on July 9th. They were 15 and a half games ahead of Cleveland. And the biggest collapse in Major League Baseball history was the Boston Braves in 1910. And although the Boston Braves came back from a 15, they were down 15 games, came back and won and made the playoffs. So the Cleveland Guardians were 15 and a half back of Detroit on the evening of July 8th. So you wake up July 9th. And you just look in their last 19 games, Spec, Cleveland has only allowed 34 runs. The next closest is Chicago Cubs at 66. That's how dominant they've been pitching. And now you got a Detroit team. They're 1-9 in their last 10. Toronto's 9-1 in their last 10. Or sorry, not Toronto, but Cleveland. And now they're playing each other in 3 straight starting tonight. Like this is unbelievable theater because we could see something we've never seen before in the history of Major League Baseball. This big of a comeback or this big of a collapse.
I know one Tigers fan out there, man, and his sphincter's awfully tight right now.
Oh, buddy, if you're a Cleveland fan, like you're just loving it, right? Dombrowski, the Canadian guy, too, he's played unreal. So he's been on fire. Their whole pitching staff has been great. So it'll be,
all right, thanks, Jay.
Have a good one, buddy. Enjoy that. Also, Santander Jays fans in the lineup tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays. And he is, they said he was going to be active, but he's not playing. I'm looking at the lineup. He's not playing, but I guess he's active on the 25-man roster, but he's not playing tonight. Springer, Varsho, Guerrero, Barger, Kirk, Lucas, Schneider, Jimenez, and Clement is the starting lineup with, of course, Gosman is on the mound against the Red Sox. And the Red Sox are in a massive battle because they are right now 1 game ahead of both Houston and Cleveland in the wild card race. And out of those 3 teams, one of them is not going to make the playoffs. Now, Detroit can fall into that mix as well. So it is going to be a fantastic race for really 3 playoff spots. The winner of the Central and then the final 2 wild card spots. 4 teams. The Yankees, Seattle, Toronto's really, they're already in. So Yankees and Seattle look pretty safe too. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll go to Winnipeg and we'll talk the Jets roster for tonight, what it looks like. It's not going to be as heavy of an. Remember last year when the orders went into Winnipeg, there was lots of veterans going. There's a few on the orders. As I mentioned, Calvin Pickard is going to get the starting goal. You got Stetcher and Emerson on the back end. Nugent Hopkins is playing tonight. Adam Henrique is playing tonight. And we'll get to a few more of those on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
While the players gear up for the new season, make sure you gear up your snack game with Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Okay, this jumbo bag of beef jerky should last the preseason.
Whoa. Will Hawk has more than just beef jerky. There's smoked sausage and pepperoni products, too.
Well, how about we have jerky for Eastern opponents and pepperoni sticks when we face the Western teams?
Now that sounds like a Will Hockey game plan.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Your all-access pass to the world of sports is Edmonton's only sports radio station.
From pre- and post-game hockey shows to in-depth analysis from your favorite commentators, the action never stops on Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The bad news, winter will be here in a flash. But the really good news, right now during the Nissan Flash Sale, you can get a set of free winter tires. You might just look forward to winter coming back, and you still get 0% financing and $500 Nissan bonus. September 23rd to 27th only. Act fast. This flash won't last. See your local Nissan dealer or Nissan.ca for details. Offer available on select 2025 models. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Shop the Fall Big Red Sale at Canadian Tire and save up to 50% on select seasonal must-haves until September 25th. Conditions and exclusions apply.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money. Support Canada at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Well, who doesn't love a little rock and roll on a Tuesday afternoon? How are you? Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. We're get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50. Make a $50 deposit, and they'll give you $50 play. So 2 for 1 at PlayAlberta.ca. It's a pretty good deal. As a time now to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And speaking of a great deal, how about $1 coffees, premium roasted coffee all day, every day, starts at $1 only at McDonald's plus tax. As we go to Winnipeg, where the Jets and the Oilers preseason action. I know people are going to be like, "Oh my God, I see it on TSN." They get mad. TSN is not a national broadcaster; it's blacked out in Edmonton zone. This is not new. This has happened forever. So please don't get upset. It's on Oilers Plus if you want to see it in the Edmonton area, or I guess maybe if you find one of those illegal streams. Not that I'm promoting it, but just saying. There you go. A gentleman who will be at the game to talk about the Jets from 680 JOB. Jets noon host Jim Toll joins us. Jim, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good, Jason. How are you, man? It's hopefully you summered well. I know it was a short one in Edmonton, but I hope everyone's doing good.
Well, you know what? Hockey's back on today because Oiler fans are debating over whether or not it's a good decision to have McDavid or Draisaitl on the same line to start the season. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. It means hockey is officially back. The Jets, probably another frustrating offseason for them in kind of how they went out and just like their inability to play well on the road in the playoffs was mind-blowing to me. Like it just doesn't, they were the best road team in the regular season. What happened?
Yeah, it's. I know a lot of people wanted to revolve around Connor Halley, and in that first round series against St. Louis, it did. He was not up to par of what you're accustomed to seeing in the regular season. But I'll go back even 2 years to the Colorado series when they lost in 5 games. That his stats were horrible, But I thought he was great in that series. It was just that they kept feeding the Colorado Avalanche power plays, and they could not defend in front of Connor Halley in that series 2 years ago, to the tune of that his high danger chances he was facing compared to the regular season had doubled in that one series. So I didn't pin that on him. But the St. Louis series, it was hard not to look at him and ask for more. They just got pounded in St. Louis for 3 games in a row. They would come home, and I still think St. Louis is a better team in that series. And I think Connor Hellebuyck he said after the Manitoba Miracle, they're calling it, when Cole Perfetti tied the game with less than 2 seconds to go, and then Adam Lowry ended it in double overtime. He said when that Perfetti goal went in, he just got his confidence back, and he just sort of settled in. And I thought he was great against Dallas. I honestly do believe that. He got another shutout against them. They lost in 6 games. If they could have pushed it to a game 7 in Winnipeg, I think all bets were off, and they lost on the penalty kill in overtime of game 6. So I think a lot of it revolves around Connor Hellebuyck, but I'm very interested to see. They've got to get to the playoffs, first of all. I'm not trying to put the cart in front of the horse here, but I think he's growing a little bit. But a lot of it was goaltending, but also systematic, right? This was a team that I would think was playoff fragile. There was that game in St. Louis where, there was 1-1. They had 3 chances in the second period, golden opportunities, couldn't bury one. And then St. Louis scored about 2 minutes later, and you could just see it deflate them. And then 2 more quick wins from St. Louis. And that's how that series went. Like, if they had the lead or they could get their game back like they did in game 1, they kind of could outplay St. Louis. But St. Louis outplayed them that series. They settled in against Dallas. I know they lost in 6, but I thought they played really well against Dallas. So heading into this season, that's what everybody's wondering about is, whether it's the road record last year, whether it's the President's Cup trophy, whether it was second in the West 2 years ago, 4th overall 2 years ago, can they get it done in the playoffs? And I said all last year when they started 15-1, I'm like, none of this matters until the playoffs to Jets fans. None of this. Yeah. They could go 82-0, and people are still going to go, okay, now we care about this because we need to. They care, but they need to see this in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's fair. When you look at Winnipeg and you see the moves they made in the offseason, what do you make of them? Or, are they better? Are they the same? And is it more, let's see what they do at the deadline?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything just to ride the fence on this. Look, losing Nick Ehlers is a loss. Nick Ehlers is a great guy. He's a great player on and off the ice, and they liked him. But I never, we heard John Shannon joins us on our pregames quite often, and his podcast with Darren Millard had Mark Chipman on, and he was talking about Kyle Connor. Well, he's family, and I'm fully confident this will get done. He grew up in this organization, and blah. I never heard that about Nick Ehlers. And I know to the players, Nick Ehlers was thought of that way, but I just got a feeling at the start of last year, and as the season wore on, that of the core that's here, that Nick would, I think Nick wants to be a top line player, and it just wasn't going to happen here with Kyle Connor, and I get that, but I don't think it was malicious or anything. I just got the point that Jets are going to offer him something, and he's going to listen. They like each other, but I also got the idea that if both sides tried something different, they would be okay with it. Like, it wouldn't be devastating. And I think that's what happened. But then Jonathan Taves comes in, Gustav Nyquist, they did Jets things, Jason. And I think that, you understand that in the Edmonton market, if you don't have a Draisaitl and McDavid, get on the phone and try to convince a player to come play for Edmonton. Get on the phone if it's Kevin Cheveldayoff, shut the door, pick up the phone and try to convince a player to come play in Winnipeg. And I'm not trying to sell the Oilers organization short, but McDavid gets you players, right? Draisaitl players want to be there. The Jets don't have that. And I saw that with Seth Jones. And I said this on the air a lot last year. I'm okay with Seth Jones being an American player going Dallas or Florida at the trade deadline. What I'm not okay with is if you don't even consider Winnipeg. I get it if you don't choose Winnipeg, but you look at Connor Hellebuyck, you look at pairing for the next 2 years of your contract with Josh Morrissey and Connor Hellebuck's your goalie and this top 6, and you don't even consider it. I think that's what the Jets do. That's what they face, right? And so I think the additions they made were Jets additions. They're not terrible. I think Tanner Pearson brings a lot of experience, and I think Cole Koepke will add to the fourth line and make them better, especially on the penalty kill. I think Nyquist, he might not score 71 like he did 2 years ago, but I don't think he's going to score 35 again. I think he's got 50, 55 points in him. I think Jonathan Taves has 50 points in him. I think Cole Perfetti can evolve a little bit. and even continue to build. I talked to him at training camp. He looks thicker, bigger, and full of confidence. So the 60-some points that Nick Ehlers brought you every year, I think can be made up. I think if you can get, an extra 10 or 15 out of Perfetti, and if you can get 30, 40 minimum out of Nyquist, and you can get 30 or 40 out of Taves, I think they can make that up. And this team has not turned this around with their dynamic top six for the last 10 years. They tried years with Paul Maurice to try and outscore their problems. I think Paul Maurice at one time, the practices I were at, got tired of preaching defense for 2 or 3 seasons and just said, well, let's just try and outscore them because, the line A's and the rest of the world are just not going to defend for me. Scheifele's not going to defend Connor. And then that's really what's turned them around. Rick Bowness came in, and the defensive game of Kyle Connor and Mark Scheifele is alarmingly better. And I also think, Jason, that that bodes well. Josh Morrissey told me years ago, the biggest, and you would know this better than I do, but the biggest misnomer in the offseason is that people think that if you've been in the league 4 or 5 years, that's who you are.
Yeah. No.
And that we just go home and work on staying in shape and then come back and keep playing. And he's a prime example, right? He didn't take off for 4 or 5 years, maybe even in his 6th season, that he started putting up 70 points. And I think that that's what's lost in a lot of these conversations is the 5 to 10% you can get better within over their season will often outweigh what you do in the off season with bringing in. And so I think the Jets they're probably not going to win the President's Trophy. They probably aren't going to score as much without Ehlers on the power play, but they might, be right back where they were. And I think they're a playoff team.
Jim Toll joins us. Winnipeg's roster tonight, kind of similar to the Oilers. It's not going to be last year, the preseason game. Both teams actually had a fairly veteran lineup kind of early in, which was a little bit weird. But of the guys in the lineup tonight, I know Jonathan Toews, I'm pretty sure, is playing for the Jets. What's your expectations for him this season? How's he looked?
Well, he's looked ready to go, and he also looks as driven as ever because the odd time he misses a puck or fans on a pass, it's as if he gave up 3 goals on one shift. He is hard on himself. Pardon me. He is hard on himself. He's still dialed in like he always has been, and he wants to make this goal. The story, as I understand it, is he tried to skate in Arizona in May, thought it was really fast, so he went to Minnesota about a month later to skate with NHLers and said, I can do this after about a month of that. So I think he looks like he can still play for sure. And I think worst case scenario, Jason, is they've added another Adam Lowry. Jonathan Toews was never a point per game player, and he was never really fast as a skater, but he was super smart, competitive, and effective at everything else parts of the game. And that's what I see from him. He's competitive. He's physical. He looks in prime shape, and he always was in there. But having seen him at a training camp session and then at the scrimmage game on Saturday, and talking to some people in the organization, they all say the same thing when you ask them, what do you think of Taves? They all think he just needs to get into a game. Like he needs to play a game. He's been doing this since May, where a lot of players are sort of dialing it down and taking some time off and then doing some off ice stuff. He's been on the ice getting ready for this. So I think at worst case, you've added another Adam Lowry to the 2-time Jennings winning defensive trophy team of the year. And I think that, best case scenario, he has 60 points in him. I think it lies somewhere in the middle. I think he's got 35 to 45 points minimum. It would not surprise me if he has 50. And I think that would come from some power play time on the second unit and playing with Cole Perfetti and Nyquist.
Okay. What about Kyle Connor's contract? How I know it was funny, when Scheifele and Hellebuck re-signed, a lot of people were like, oh, they're leaving, they're done, and then they both signed. Connor hasn't signed yet, which doesn't. There's a Connor in Edmonton, just different last name, who hasn't signed. But I'm curious, what are you hearing, or what do you think is going to happen between him and the Jets?
Well, as guys in the media, don't you and I both want the entire class to go to free agency next summer and just see what happens with the Kaprizovs, the McDavids, the Kyle Connors, and everybody else? I think it gets done. I think that Kyle Connor is in discussions. What I really think happened is he's like, I don't want to do anything in the summer. I don't need a contract. I don't want to be on the lake fishing or on the golf course and have to go, okay, what are the numbers? And then I think when he landed back here in Winnipeg about a week and a half ago, I think they started talking. And I think I would assume it's going to get done, but I'm not sure. I would assume before the season, but I don't think Kyle's in a big rush. But I think he wants to be here. He's probably the lowest maintenance superstar in the National Hockey League I've ever seen. And I don't know how Edmonton feels about him, but I think he's a superstar. I think he's a top 10 to 15 player in this league. And I think when you get out of the top 5, like McKinnon and Kucherov and the 2 guys in Edmonton and Kaprizov, I think he goes right there. So, but I know he wants to be here. I just wonder if it's about term, right? But I'll say this, Jason, when this core took their second or third contracts, and I'm talking Hellebuyck, Scheifele, Ehlers, Morrissey, all those guys took $6 million. And Connor held out a little bit. He got to camp about 2 days left in it and took 7.1. So it tells me he knows, he's got a little bit more value than the core, not thinking at all that he's better than them. But I think the team understands that this elite goal scoring and skill and hands and speed that he has is a little more elite than our really good core players too. So that's where I think it sits. I think they have a number and they're talking, and I think he's pushing back a little bit because he has in the past, and then they'll get it done. I don't think it won't get done. It's just a matter of when and what the term will be and then the number. But you're right. I didn't see both Hellebuyck and Scheifele coming back. I thought one of them would be gone for sure. And when they did, I think Kyle Connor's right in there with them. He loves it here. He loves hunting. He loves fishing. He loves the winters, and he's from Michigan, and he wants to win with this crew, this core, and I think that he's going to sit down and lock it up. But I don't think it'll be 8. I don't think it'll be 7. I think he's thinking 5 to 6, right around what Scheifele and Hellebuyck and everybody else has here, and go from there.
Okay. When you look at their defense, is there something lacking? Do you think they'd want to upgrade? Do they like their defense core? What do you make of it?
I think they'd always like to upgrade it. And I think they're always looking for that big physical one. And isn't everybody, but they brought in Luke Shen. They have 9 guys signed. And so something's got to give. I think they go into the regular season with 8, and they have to put somebody on waivers. Yeah. So I think the top 4 is set. I think it's Morrissey and DeMello, and Sandberg's been an unsung hero here. He's really, really good defensively. And I think he had 20 points last year. I think he's a key to this team. And really takes another step forward, along with Neil Pionk, who did get an extension at $7 million. And then it's a wonder, right? Shen's got a year left. Playing tonight will be Cale Clegg, who they picked up. But there's Hayden Fleury, who earned himself a deal, coming in as a probably on a 2-way deal last year and played well enough with the speed. Logan Stanley's still here, a former first-round pick that the size that he is, I think people are still waiting for him. He's not as bad as I think some Jets fans would make it out to be, but he does have some terrible games. And the other games are just, normal 6 defenseman games. And so when he's bad, he's really bad. And then he has 3 or 4 that he just doesn't stand out. So I think they want that physicality in the lineup as well. But Ville Heinola is here, and he's a guy that, he would have made the team and been on the roster last year, but he had an off-season injury or an injury with his ankle. And I don't know, if you didn't have any bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. It got infected after, I think it was done the year before, and he took the summer, and then he came back and they discovered that it was rusting inside the screws in his ankle, which apparently happens, but is rare. And he would have made the team out of the gate. And so he missed all of last year again. He was on the roster and they kept him around. But so he's a little bigger, and he's playing in the 2 sessions I saw him a little bit more physical. He's going to play tonight, and he's going to play with Luke Shen. And I'm wondering if they're kind of looking at seeing if that might be a 5-6 pairing guy. But they got 9 defensemen. Something's got to give. But I do think they would still like to get, like when they were at their best in 2019, I think their right side was Trouba, Bufflin, and Myers.
Oh, geez.
And physical. Yeah. And Myers, gets roasted in Vancouver, and rightfully so. His game has gone down a lot since being here. But when he was 5-6 here and not taught, that's how they went to the Western Conference Final, right? And I think they would like something like that again if they could acquire it. The problem is I think every team would, but it'll be interesting to see which direction they go. Fleury can move the puck and has got speed. Heinola is that kind of a style too. There's not room in the top 4 for those kind of guys. And then, I think Shen's on the team this year, but I don't think even when healthy, he plays all 82. I think they're going to protect that a little bit, and what they decide and who gets waived is one of the biggest questions at training camp.
Well, yeah, and all those guys I think require waivers. So Would there be any fear of any of them getting claimed?
Well, people debate me on this all the time, but Logan Stanley has 200 plus games. He's 6'7". He is what he is. He's not Zdeno Chara by any means, but I don't know if a team would take him or or Heinola, who's a first-round pick, puck mover. His first 5 games in his rookie year, or 4 games, he put up points, but the defensive part of it, the physicality wasn't there. And the other problem with Heinola, and I don't like doing this to players, but the couple of times 2 years ago when he got sent down, I went to a Moose game the very next time he was in the lineup, and he looked like he wanted to be anywhere else.
Okay.
So I think that hurt him a little bit too, but he came into camp like thicker and bigger than ever. He's had a really good couple of days here, but also his agent's probably on him, right? Saying, look, you got no resume here and you need a contract next year. So I think either one of those two guys might be claimed on waivers. And I don't know what they're thinking, right? This is an organization that have lost the Chisholms and the Kovaceviches to other teams. Montreal and Minnesota claim those guys. And, Kovacevic is now in New Jersey. They kind of, and I know for a fact with Kovacevic, they waived him purposely thinking that nobody might take a chance, and somebody did. And so they might be in that scenario again. So, but I don't know, like I think somebody would get claimed. It just depends what the name is that they decide to waive. And I know that they'll approach it like they have with those previous 2 names I mentioned of trying to sneak somebody through.
Jim, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. Enjoy the matchup tonight, and we'll talk to you throughout the year. Have a great day.
Yeah, look forward to it. Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the game tonight.
I bet you there's Jim Toth from 680 CJOB. The Oilers lineup tonight, if you want it, I got it. And here it is for tonight. Howard is going to play with Nugent Hopkins and Kapanen. Henrique with Marhala and Savoy. I think Tomasek was scheduled to go, but decided something happened there, so he's not going. Philp with Hudson and Jones. Capone with Griffith and Rem Pitlick, and then on the back end, Leppinen and Emberson, Stetcher, Brown, Deneen, and Prokop. So there you go. And Pickard, of course, will start in goal. We'll come back, wrap things up. It's a Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Yeah, can I get yes. A common reaction from a veggie lover. Always scanning, searching, longing. But wait, what is this we see? The new McVeggie, now at McDonald's.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Find incredible savings on everything you need for your home at The Brick. Save up to $800 on sofas and up to $1,000 off select major appliances when you buy 2 or more. Whether you're furnishing a new space or refreshing your current one, The Brick has designs to fit any style and budget, all backed by their exceptional service. Visit one of their 4 locations in Edmonton, downtown, South Common, West Edmonton Mall, or 137th on the north side. See in-store for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
God said, I need somebody to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, go to town, and stay all night at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. We are so thankful God made a farmer. For the month of September, it is our goal to feed 500 families. With every vehicle sold, we will feed a family of 4. So please help us reach our goal. Visit us online at northgategm.com.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvancelliot.com. It takes grit. It takes heart. It's the legendary Canadian Finals Rodeo, powered by ATV. From October 1st to 4th in Edmonton, the nation's best go head-to-head in a battle of pure willpower. Witness the raw strength and adrenaline at Rogers Place. Plus, soak up the Western lifestyle at the Canadian Country Expo, with free admission and shuttles running between the expo and the arena. This is more than a rodeo. It's a showdown. Get your tickets now at cfr.ca.
It's time to rev up your engines at the Finning Sales Event today. Take advantage of event exclusives and score big with 0% financing. Demo the latest Cat heavy-duty equipment as they celebrate 100 years. Plus, you can pick up your Burke with every equipment purchase, $2,000 in additional discounts or free select attachments. Big machines, big savings, big fun. That's today. Edmonton Finning, 10910 170th Street Northwest.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The Oilers are back in action, and OTR is ready to be your headquarters for all things hockey. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play Oilers, score, and win every game with prizes galore at On the Rocks.
Tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Gregor, Halley, Kruger with you as we roll through, wrapping up a busy Tuesday afternoon. If you missed it, the stories here. Podkolzin has signed a 3-year extension with Edmonton, $2.95 million AAV. That contract begins next season. Chris Knobloch announcing that to at least start the regular season, he's going to have McDavid and Draisaitl together. Went into his explanation. If you want the whole explanation, you can get the audio version of the show to download the pod in hour number 2. We had it, or you can go read the article with his quotes at OilersNation.com. They're both there. And basically explain, Frederick's going to start there. He feels that, he could keep them apart without Hyman. They're pretty thin in his eyes of a legit top 6 forward, which is totally valid. You got some guys that you think can do it, but a little bit of unknowns. So he's going to go with one full sure known. Is McDavid and Draisaitl together? They play really well, especially in the regular season, especially when you consider that Oilers play 7 of the first 10 games against teams that didn't make the playoffs last year. It's not like they're going up against the juggernauts of juggernauts. And so that's the plan to start the season. Nugent Hopkins, second line center. Tomasic, maybe the third line center. We'll see. They're going to give that a look here for the next few days. None of those guys are playing tonight. Well, that's not true. Nugent Hopkins is playing tonight with Howard and Kapanen, Marhala with Savoy and Henrique, Philp with Hudson and Jones, Rem Pitlick with Capone and Griffith, Leppin and Emberson, Stretcher, Brown, Deneen, and Prokop will play together. Calvin Pickard will get the start tonight. So you look at it. Stuart Skinner's yet to play a preseason game. I'm going to put all my money down. He plays tomorrow at home. McDavid, Draisaitl, Frederick will play as a line. The coach already said that. I think Ekholm and Bouchard are going to get in that game tomorrow. You'll see Andrew Mangiapane for the first time. I'm guessing maybe he'll play with Tomasic, who's not playing tonight. And then you'll fill it in. Clattenburg is definitely going to get another game for the Oilers. I think Szymanski, probably a guy who didn't play, because they're not going to have guys play back-to-back this early in the season. It doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So, you'll see a lot of those guys in the lineup. Janmark didn't go on the trip, so I would expect that he will play. Curtis Lazar didn't go, so he would play tomorrow. The only one I'm not sure about is Nurse and Wallman. Would they play Nurse, Wallman, Bouchard, Ekholm together, or do they save those guys for the Friday night game? I'm going to guess they might save those two for the Friday night game, right? And just, have some other young guys on the back end behind Bouchard and Ekholm. That would be my guess. So tomorrow night, home game against the Seattle Kraken. Enjoy the preseason game if you want to watch it. It's Oilers Plus. If you have the NHL Network, you can get it. Don't yell at your screen. Just remind yourself TSN's not a national broadcaster. You'll probably see it on TV. It's blacked out, as it always is, because that's a regional broadcast. Have yourselves a lot. Hey, you can watch the Jays game. Big one against the Red Sox tonight. Connor Halley will update you on the score. Right now, have yourself a great night. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. If you missed any parts of the show, go to jasongregor.com, or the entire podcast is up anywhere where you get your podcast, or you can even rewatch the show on our YouTube page. at AM Sports 1440. Here's a Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Continue to improve your game. 01.ca. Good night.
The Sports 1440 update.
In case you missed it, the Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Vasily Podkolzin to a 3-year extension with an AAV of $2.95 million. The 24-year-old had 8 goals, 16 assists last season, at 10 points in 22 playoff games. The Oilers are in action tonight, set to take on the Winnipeg Jets. Jonathan Taves making his Jets debut in this one. Major League Baseball right now. Bottom of the third, Jays trail the Red Sox 1-0. Elsewhere, Yankees on top of the White Sox 1-0. Phillies have a 3-0 lead over the Marlins, and the Pirates lead the Reds 4-2. Later tonight, Twins head to Texas, taking on the Rangers. You got the Angels, Royals, Rockies, Mariners. Diamondbacks with the Dodgers, Brewers in San Diego, Giants beat the Cards, and the Astros head to Sacramento for a matchup with the Athletics. WNBA this evening, playoff action after one quarter. The Lynx lead the Mercury 21-19. Minnesota also leads that series 1-0. And at 7:30, the Fever taking on the Aces. Indiana 1-0 in that one. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio all night long. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. on the Kevin Perry Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Sports 1440 AM. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Yes, it's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free